Everybody, welcome back to the Project Manga podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero, Black Clover, Mashle, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. Back this week covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 35. I'm your host, Eagle.
What up, it's Kiko.
Noxie.
And Nickums.
And as always, before we get started, we would just like to say, go ahead and visit that link tree in the description box down below, where you can find the links to any and all of our online communities, audio listening platforms you can consume the podcast on, as well as links to support the podcast if you would be so kind. Also, while you're down there, you can find links for, not links, but timestamps for the segments so that you can skip spoilers for manga that you're not current on and just listen to discussions about what you are current on. So, with all that said, how y'all feeling about this weekend jump?
Great.
What a week.
It's a lit week.
Really
yeah, this
good,
week
really
is
good.
crazy.
Whole week and the team is all here. Welcome back, Kiko.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I am back. I'm here. I'm going to bring extra analysis to make up for last week.
We'll see.
Probably not true. Yeah, probably not true.
Just glad to have you here, man.
Well,
Yes.
let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Chapter 116 of Jujutsu Kaisen, the Shibuya Incident Part 34, and this cover with Sukuna
So sick.
holding the flame up to his face.
So sick.
As fuck, bro.
yeah.
The shading.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The light and like the shadow around it, like it's just like the effect was knocked it out of the park.
Right.
Yeah. And going right into this double page spread. With
Yeah.
them, with
Yeah,
them standing
I know.
on the
Wow.
here, bro. The artwork on this panel, on this
Phenomenal.
double page
So tight.
spread,
Yeah,
incredible.
so tight. Yeah.
Super sick.
It's
Like you can see
funny.
like air ducts and stuff and girders coming out of the broken building and
Yeah.
shit.
Oh,
in the
yeah, yeah,
background.
yeah.
If you look
Yeah.
closely, it's like
Yeah, it's so good. And I mean, M.A.N.G.A kind of five-headed this chapter by like having some blank back screen for good reason, which we'll get to we got some really like no background panels and it's
Yeah.
just plain white
Yeah,
screen,
well,
But
it
exactly,
was aesthetically fitting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly. That's why I'm saying it's five-headed. It works for the story exactly. So you could put so much time into this fucking beautiful 2-page spread, and you just got no background Hanami, no background Jogo.
Right.
That's very. Those are very easy panels, obviously, compared to this one.
Right.
So it's just great to.
Yeah, just smart. Yeah.
Yeah, just a smart play there. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Going next into these, dude, I thought these hand panels
The hand
were so
motions
fire
were
with like the, and then Joe goes,
Yeah.
like dude, super
So
sick.
Same thing.
Reminded me of
Black backgrounds.
Yeah.
Right,
Not
right.
backgrounds. Yeah.
Does anyone else? Okay, so when Sukuna on this other double spread, when he's like setting up his like fire arrow, anyone
Yeah.
else getting a Pokul
Pockle,
vibe?
yeah,
Yes.
from Hunter.
From Hunter?
Yes.
This looks exactly like his ability or whatever. It's super,
Yeah,
super
it
tight.
definitely
or it's
does.
kind of
Or
like
even,
bungee gum or something, like how
Yeah.
the fire is like stretching, and
Yeah.
Stretching. Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
the dude's
yeah.
from Bleach's name? The Quincy, the main squad dude.
Uryu.
Ishida? Uryu.
Yeah, Ishido. Yeah, that's his name too.
Ishida, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cool how when they're stanced up here in this double spread, Sukuna has like the fire arrow, obviously, and then Jogo has
His
like,
shit is way
the
tighter.
fire pine cone or whatever, and this kind of just like
It looks like almost like a budding flower. Like it's
Yeah.
about
I
to
thought of it
bloom.
as
Yeah,
a rose
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
I thought of it as a
It
rose
is,
too.
it is,
Yeah,
Damn,
yeah.
that's tight.
for
That's
sure.
tight.
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cool because it's like it kind of like reinforces like the idea that we were talking about last week or 2 weeks ago rather, that Sukuna like is copying the ability, but it's just like the Sukuna version of it, right? So like it might not be that he like it might not be like an unconditional copy like a Yuta or like an Okotsu rather, but like it's just like he understands Juryoku so well that he sees like how the ability works fundamentally, and then just like recreates it to be just strong and as strong as he needs it to be, but also like just in his own way. It doesn't have to be the exact same technique, and fire is pretty malleable anyway. If you have control over
exactly.
it, you can make it look however you want anyway. But
Definitely. And it's, I mean, you kind of get Jing vibes. It's like, but not as good as Jing, since Jing like fully copies it, as far as we know. I mean, that's a little,
maybe he could fully
but
copy it if he wants to, but his power is so like he's like at such a level like above Like Jogo, he doesn't need to like. This is just good enough for him. It's going to be more potent anyway, but it just doesn't need to like put like the proper like shape into it or something.
Yeah, to even take it maybe in a different direction where he's taking Jogo's ability and taking it a step up. I'm going to add, piercing to the flame, because I already use piercing and slicing attacks, like let me, obviously my version of, I mean, it could just be, I just want my attack to look like me. It's my style attack too, but either way, I like either of those for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And this exchange with like this like dream sequence or this like aftermath, vision, you know what I mean, of Jogo with, Hanami and Dagon. It's like
right when I saw them with the all white background, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, dude. And it's awesome how M.A.N.G.A can like it's I feel like it's pretty rare that you get like a humanization of villains on this level inside of shonen storytelling,
especially monster villains.
Yeah, especially monster villains. You know what I mean? You have human villains that like are, that get pathos and get humanized and whatnot all the time, and like stories and whatnot, and it's very believable and it's very real and it's very, it's very visceral, and it feels and it feels right. You know what I mean? But it's like you're saying, Nick, it's that much more rare with like monster. Style villains. Like these really feel like people. You know what I mean? And I feel
like it's also deep in another way where it's like I feel like this dialogue is pretty heavy for the story and for Mahito's character at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. And did any of you guys take this as Yuji's ability or maybe his ability as
100%?
This is a fake memory that never happened. Yeah. Right? Like
I think a good reason for that is fast forward to the end, right? So that they have this exchange with the white background, and and Jogo is like, "What is this?" And Sukuna says, "Don't ask me. I don't know what it is either." Yeah. And so it's as if
I thought he was saying that because he was crying.
Yeah. No. But a lot of people took it that way too.
But Jogo's crying in this dream. Yeah. In reality, he's on fire and dying.
Oh yeah. You're right.
And I think Sukuna's like, I don't know what that is either, and I think that's because this is Yuji's ability activating.
Yeah. Well, like,
maybe in a way or something.
Well, no, and I agree with all of that, but even more so, Sukuna, being involved, Yuji's innate ability or whatever that we all assume it to be, takes him into this world with them, just like that happens with Yuji. He's just a part of their memory too, and even though Sukuna and Yuji aren't really a part of it, they're on the outside looking in, but he obviously is in the memory, fake memory there, so he clearly is witnessing all of this, and he even says like, oh, you want to be human, and it's like, okay, I know you don't really want to be actual human, you want to take their place, and he's like, that's where you fucked up, really, because you're not being selfish in your growth. Now, after you lost to Gojo, you basically became a weaker version of yourself. You were driven by your own
insecurities and inadequacies
to get stronger, and now you value the plan over your own life, and this is what did it to you. And even though I respect how strong you are, and this is great that I got to have fun for a little bit. Like you gave me a good time, so I respect your power, but your ideal is still shit. So you're still trash to me,
But it's still cool how much depth this scene gives to Sukuna, because he's surprisingly regal. Yeah. I think would be a good word for it. Like, cause he sees himself as like this divine being who's above everybody else, and that everyone else is beneath him, but he can still acknowledge a curse, what I mean? Like, what I mean? He's, he can still like have a heartfelt, like compassionate conversation when the situation like calls for it, what I mean?
Right.
And it just it gives depth to his character that like I wasn't really expecting personally, but love to see, you know what I mean? So
him saying like stand proud, Jogo, you're strong. I was blown away that he would say that.
Yeah.
That face makes me feel that Yuji is involved in that.
It's like
him
both
saying
of them together. Yeah.
Both of them together are saying that, and that's Sukuna maybe being, I don't know,
just his time running out.
Well, and Yuji's
reclaiming control of the body, maybe.
But and not even
or that his like personality or his intent is shining through in Sukuna, like Sukuna.
Sukuna is being absorbed by Yuji. Yes.
The longer they share a vessel, you know, with their soul, the longer their souls share a vessel, the more intertwined their personalities become to a certain degree. Which is cool here in this exchange, but what does that mean for who Yuji is going to be later on in the series, the longer Sukuna stays inside of him? You know what I mean? Is he going to become a little bit more vicious, a little bit more ruthless, a little bit like less Yuji, a little bit more Sukuna? What is like a tried and true combination, like an even balance of their personalities going to look like? Oh shit.
Well, and Gojo, I felt like had very similar dialogue with Megumi about being selfish about your ability. You know, like you need to use these insecurities. You need to use all this shit to push yourself forward. I felt like this was reminiscent of a conversation I'm pretty confident Gojo and Megumi had too, which it's a very
human. It's a very human, you know, concept. You know what I mean? Like we've gotten as far as we can because of how selfish and how, you know, and our ego, basically, you know what I mean? Like our malice and our ruthlessness, and like in regard to, you know, becoming the apex predators of the planet and establishing ourselves as, you know, the best thing since sliced bread is what like brings us to, you know, the point that we're at right now. You know what I mean? So like naturally, and that's like, you know, those are themes that you see like really driven home inside of like Hunter x Hunter and whatnot. You know what I mean? Which obviously significantly inspired the story too. Yeah. but it's
Eagle,
cool to get those. It's cool to get those human, those human like concepts like rehashed throughout the series. Yeah.
Eagle, what do you?
I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, I think maybe what you guys said at first might have some merit to it, and this might be like a false memory or some shit.
Yeah.
Or a false dream, because not only is like he's actually burning, none of this is really happening, but how would Sukuna like have access to his mental space as he's having a flashback or dying or whatever? So
and that's the Yuji
another thing
ability.
is that Yuji's
ability,
Yuji's always typically present within their flashbacks.
Every time.
And I was thinking that could be a crazy ability to as time goes on allow Yuji to have like a really all-knowing understanding of like how the world works and how the villains feel and shit. Is that I think it was something Kiko lightly touched on, what he was saying is that within these flashbacks, what if Yuji is like mentally present and almost like a shadow clone type thing? He retains that memory from being within the false memory, and he can gain knowledge of their motivations, because it seems like all that kind of shit always comes up in these flashbacks, like their motivations, what's driving them.
Because I think this is like
heartfelt shit like this.
This heartfelt, because this is an empathy
and the conversation
he's like
between
an empath.
Hanami and him.
It's an empathy based ability, and how can you empathize with some of these people unless you get their motivation? You know what I mean? So the situation will describe the motivation. Say with
or unless you were their best friend.
Right. But I'm saying,
which he always is in the flashback.
Yeah. But with Choso, you know, like, what did Choso want? He wanted to be with his brothers. At eating a picnic lunch or whatever, you know what I mean, right? So like that's the empathy. That's usually figuring out like what does Choso want, and then what did
Toto
what's
want?
His name? Toto,
Toto
like
wanted a best friend,
someone who he could have a rival, he could joke around and like talk about girls with and stuff. You know what I mean? So I definitely think this is Yuji's ability again.
Yeah.
That's something that I hadn't even considered when I first read the chapter. Well, that's really fucking cool.
And another thing is that
they're all dead. That's the thing. Dagon and Hanami are dead. And Jogo's talking to him, and you're seeing an old version of Dagon. You're not seeing a new version. And which would you could think that that's a memory, but they're saying like, sorry guys, I couldn't do it. And Mahito is still alive. Hanami is saying back like, this is everything you really strove for. This is why you propped Mahito up as the leader, even though you were really actually stronger than Mahito this whole time. But Mahito, his, reflection of the human world, he has the most potential because of what humans are about, basically, and the fear of, death and whatever, all this that they talk about. So this is definitely just this is definitely like a conversation that Jogo is basically having in his mind to gain closure with his with two comrades.
Yes,
like, hey, like we did our job. Now our shit is done. I wish I could have did more for the cause. You guys everybody, we did as much as we could. We did a great job, basically. You know, like it's just giving himself closure that we all did what we could, even if I wanted to do more, you know.
Right. I was just gonna say something interesting. I don't know if Jogo has any. I don't know if he has if he ever knew Dagon as anything other than this, because Dagon parted ways.
Exactly right.
With in a different spot and turned into the but
exactly.
Another thing I think is pretty interesting is the paneling here where he says, "Stand proud, you're strong."
Mm-hmm.
He looks really kind and shit. And the very next page, he's looking at him with like disdain and shit.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
And that's reality.
That's Yuji shining through in the dream, and then back to reality. Sukuna is still awful.
Yeah. And I think a reason
this is so
why
sick.
It is sick, and I think a reason why these scenes hit so hard and why this villain group inside of Jujutsu Kaisen hits so hard is because their goal, was to seal Gojo so that they can do what they wanted to do, which was, some of them wanted to revive Sukuna, get Gojo out of here and revive Sukuna so that Sukuna can run rampant or whatever. But it's not specifically, their motivations aren't specifically to, defeat the main characters, you know what I mean? They have they have ulterior motives, you know what I mean? And it's not really reliant on Yuji, for example. Usually villains, that are portrayed in stories are just there to be stepping stones for the growth of the of the main character or the main cast, right? And they can definitely be used for that here, but I feel what makes it so grounded and so cool on and what humanizes the villain so much is that usually when you see villain groups, they're either sitting around talking about how much they hate the main characters and how they can't wait to to finally take them down. They're obsessed with the main characters and being their arch nemesis or whatever. These characters have motivations that don't really have anything to do with Megumi or Nobara. Obviously Choso wants revenge against Yuji and Nobara, but Choso's out of here for all we know, and he never even got to encounter Nobara again, you know what I mean? He had his situation with Yuji, and Yuji didn't even win that fight, you know what I mean? But the plot progresses and the villains continue to be fleshed out, and when you have a situation like that where the villains aren't just living and existing for the sake of defeating the characters or being the main character and being stepping stones for them, it allows different layers of depth for them individually as characters, so that when we get these really
and for the world,
right? Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? When the world doesn't revolve around the main characters, right, then the supporting characters shine that much brighter, I feel you know what I mean?
100%.
Because it's not just villains that are obsessed with Yuji, you know what I mean?
If the villains have a motivation that's not the main character, you have to also explain the target of their motivation. What about the world is it that they're trying to change or whatever, and that then you get the world description, which is very powerful in Jujutsu Kaisen for sure.
And then just naturally the main characters will intersect with the villains because they have to, and but it's not because they're focused on the main cast. It's because it's just they need to do what they're trying to do, and usually the main cast are the ones to try to thwart them. But
it's just different people with different outlooks.
It's not a Orochimaru Sasuke situation, right? Where it's I just need Sasuke the whole time.
Exactly.
Any of that obsession type thing.
It's literally just it's just literally just people, just characters with different outlooks on the world, with different motivations that just happen to be clashing, and it doesn't have to be I defeated the main bad guy, so now that's all that their character was for or whatever. And a lot of people are thinking that because a lot of these main villain groups members are dying, that the story might be wrapping up, because it's who are the villains going to be or whatever. But it's we get this scene here at the end with the white-haired monk coming in. We get a name for them now, which is Uraume, you know what I mean? And Sukuna recognizes this person, so it's pretty clear that there's
this person could be old as hell, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we would have to assume. I mean, they know Sukuna, you know what I mean? So it's
I assume that it's a body jumper, just like Brain-kun.
Yeah, it's there's a much deeper plot going on here than just this villainous group's motivations. Once you defeat these guys, it's definitely not over. I mean, out with the curse villain group, in with the with the Jujutsu sorcerer shaman villain group, you know what I mean, or whoever is going to come in and oppose the narrative next, you know what I mean? So,
and we've seen Uraume. This is like the third or fourth time now. We haven't got a name for him or her, because the first time we see him
was in the domain,
or him or her in the domain, behind the curses and just standing there like, hey. And Mahito's like telling Jogo like, hey, or maybe it's Brain-kun, it's Getsu telling fucking Jogo like, we're still working with other humans and I'm about to, and you got to get along with them, or like find the common ground. We got a common goal here. And then at the time too, during the Goodwill event, when Juzo, the like butcher guy that wants to turn the old man into a wallet and fucking wants to turn Gojo into shelves, like that guy gets hemmed up, right? And they keep him alive. Gojo just like twists his arms and shit in his legs, and then they put him in like an interrogation thing, and he's saying, they're like, it's not that he's not talking, it's just he's saying gibberish, and he keeps talking about this androgynous white-haired monk is the one who's saying this and that, and they're just like, I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about, And that was so tight to like realize, and like this person is very heavily, in control as much as Getsu, it seems like, right? Like they have like, it seems like they have a mutual agreement, and maybe the Uraume is kind of playing the background as, okay, I'm not like in the forefront like this, so you don't really know. But I feel like they're both ancient beings, Brain-kun and Uraume, also a body jumper, you would assume, and that they both have known Sukuna for a long time. I feel like Brain-kun has known Sukuna for a long time, and so they have clashing motivations for Sukuna. Clearly, we get that right now. We see this right here, and that's like going to be like the driving, like conflict for the future of this is going to be probably Brain-kun versus, Uraume, in not physical, I don't know, maybe it's strategic planning or whatnot, but we'll see. I mean, maybe make some kind of pact with Sukuna right now, or maybe that's not even needed, because this is clearly like Sukuna's servant from, I don't know, 500 years ago,
right?
Like, who knows? So that's definitely a lot of plot points.
I'm excited to see that
so
there
many
are
places that can go.
Significant plot threads that are being hung down, for us to look forward to after this arc. You know what I mean? For for the people who thought what's going to happen after this, it's like now you have a very significant, advancement of the narrative potential advancement of the narrative here inside of this relationship with the white-haired monk Uraume and Sukuna.
I'm super excited about that direction too, because like, what's the other person you're always talking about, Kiko? Noritoshi Kamo.
Oh yeah, Noritoshi Kamo, the original one, not like, the one that lives now, but the old one. Yeah.
But what if that person is still around because of this body jumping thing? You know what I mean? And like, I just like, I'm so curious about this past, all these past stuff. Like, and Sukuna was around for 1,000 years or whatever, and was having all these fights and adventures.
Another big thing with that I just researched, like looking back after reading this chapter here, is Gojo's clan is born from a cursed spirit. Like it was a human that turned, like a vengeful spirit. Isn't that what it called when a human turns into a curse? Their clan was like born from that vengeful spirit. So there's a lot of this shit we're gonna get probably all at one time. This Kamo history,
big lore dumps, lore exposition dumps that are probably going to be used to flesh out like the real final conflict of the series.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So
which makes all this kind of shit like kind of like this plan that like the Mahito and like the current villain group has. It makes it like seem so trivial when there's so much like world history that is like being like established as like far as like a future plot, you know what I mean, as far as like what's really going on in the world.
The history does include the cursed spirits, because they reincarnate, and they're hyping up Mahito as like, this is the guy, you know what I mean, this is gonna be our leader, our number one dude. So like,
I guess it's not trivial, all related, because like you got to get Gojo out of here if you want to do anything, because he's just that much of a problem.
It's so I hate to do this, but like Mahito is kind of the Shigaraki, right? Like we're cultivating this, and he's even looks like him a little bit, like cultivating this final boss that Mahito might be the same thing, where It would be crazy to think, in both stories, Hero and Jujutsu, that we have the antagonist who doesn't seem like the main antagonist. Well, Shigaraki always did, but regardless, Mahito doesn't seem like he's the top antagonist for all this time.
But he's like a representation of humanity's malice, right? So it's
which makes all the sense.
If the final if the final conflict comes down to humanity versus curses, or humanity and then like shamans inside of humanity and then like cursed spirits and like some kind of like triple, like faction showdown of some kind, then like Mahito being the representative of one of those factions in that degree would be a huge setup for the future of his character. Right. And we've seen his growth and development throughout the series. Like
definitely every time you see him, he's grown.
You either see his growth or they mention his growth. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So
it's like he's gonna be very, very problematic and very much a part of the final conflict, I feel like.
Yeah.
So we haven't even talked about the last page yet. Whole other scene here.
Yeah. So it's 7. What's the time?
11.
We have less than an hour left of Halloween.
Well, and the fight started between Jogo and Sukuna at 11:01. So it's very possible that he got worked in maybe 2 minutes or so, and well, maybe since Sukuna came. No, Jogo. So like. So, well, I would give it maybe a little bit more time because Jogo called the meteor down.
Yeah.
And Sukuna was like, nobody gets to move. 3, 2, last chapter,
Right,
and so like there was that, and then the climax. So yeah, I don't know, maybe 5 or so minutes ish, but Sukuna, is he gonna look over and see Handy fucking Megumi up and it's out of here? Like that's what I said 2 weeks ago. That's what I said 2 weeks ago, and that's what I assumed. But I really think there's more to this than that, but I'm gonna let you guys go before I say what I've been saying a lot. So yeah,
I mean, the big question mark here is the shadow, shadow over Handy Hup.
Yes, exactly.
And he's like, he sounds frustrated, like this wasn't how it was supposed to go. I was gonna come in here, I was gonna knife you, you're gonna die. Like what is this? Like why? And the shadow is large, and Megumi's on the ground. What the heck is this shadow?
Yeah. So
probably
there's a couple of things.
The dragon that we never got. Because we got remember like when they were fighting Inversion, right? The Inversion sorcerer, and then like the chapter right before they engaged him, like you saw like Yuji and Megumi like kind of like loading up their abilities going into the fight, and there was like a fucking like snake like or like dragon like shadow that like Megumi was loading up, and then he ended up using Rabbit Escape and like Max Elephant. You know what I mean? So like we never we never ended up actually like seeing what that Shikigami was. It could be
that would be super tight. I'll be super right for that.
Now, is the dragon so tight that Megumi has to lose consciousness for it to work, or is it going berserk? Did he summon it and then get knocked out, and now it's just out and about doing whatever it wants to do?
Wow.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's protecting Megumi. I don't know.
Yeah,
that would be really cool. I didn't think of that. Well, so I didn't think of the dragon, but like if you look at these the panel where he smacked up against, it feels like that's reflected, like the material of the building that it's made out of is some like reflective, metal, not glass, because glass would shatter, but it's like I don't know. It just looks the way that it's drawn, kind of with the lines down, where it's not broken, where you got lines on it. It kind of feels like reflective material, which Megumi may be able to use, shadows through reflective material and shit like that. I don't know. Like, and I didn't think of the dragon, so that'd be super tight if somehow it uses this reflection or something and gets blasted into it. But like, I don't know, his shadow like coming towards the reflection and getting smashed, and then I don't know, coming out. That'd be pretty crazy.
That would
like
be fucking sick.
The closer you get to it, the bigger the shadow would get, as you're getting smacked into it. But the other thing I thought about, I had two, and that was kind of like my empty hypothesis here, because I didn't really know like what attack he would use, but I really like to put the dragon in there. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other one, I thought of the dude that was pissed with the fucking hearts on his chest, and because if you look, Megumi smacked into the wall, and Handy uses a sword and he cuts people. It don't really seem like he inflicted that on him. So it feels like that big swole dude got mad at whatever Handy's dumbass running around doing dumb shit, came out here, fucked him up a little bit, smacked Megumi into the wall real quick, like, hey, it's not your turn, I'm talking to this guy right here. And then he's about to deal with him.
Or he slashed him and then like kicked him into the fucking wall.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like, there's endless possibilities for.
Yeah. It's. I'm not saying it's not impossible for Handy to kick or to give you any kind of brute force to smack you up against something. It's just that's not really his fighting style thus far.
Right,
so
right,
that's why I was thinking maybe it's a third party.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree with it that it could be a third party, but I feel like the dialogue here of you stupid Jujutsu sorcerer, like wake up. Like what is he? Why does he want him to wake up? Does he think that Megumi will team up with him against the third party? And I don't know why he would expect anyone to do that with him. So I feel like this has to be Megumi's ability.
Yeah.
And it's like gone out of control. He because Megumi's knocked out, and he's like, "Wake up and turn this off." You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is very imposing and very scary right now. Like,
and that's very fair. But it could just also be that this guy's gonna kill us both if you don't fucking wake up and help me.
Yeah.
So I mean that's good enough motivation there to think, okay, maybe he will help if we're both going to die, and we got to 2v1 this guy. That's the only way, because he clearly just smacked you into the wall, and he's towering over me because the shadow is completely engulfing Handy, right? Like he's under it. So like that it could also be a big ass giant dragon coming to coming to
because he doesn't know what Megumi's ability is, does he? So like
probably not.
If it is a giant dragon and he's unconscious, like it would be like, it would make sense for him to be like, yo, like what's going on here? Like it wasn't like I wasn't expecting you to have post-mortem dragon attacks, like or just like post like
consciousness,
unconscious, like dragon attacks. Like what the fuck, man? Like
shit.
Yeah, he's probably assuming that he has no control over it, and that like since he doesn't have any control over it, that this dragon will just eat him, like without any kind of like care for this character's safety, which he's probably assuming these Jujutsu sorcerers do care about life to a certain degree, but like if you're unconscious and your dragon is running around all willy-nilly and it might just fucking eat me without you knowing, and you wouldn't turn it off. Like I don't want to be like, I'm down with being beaten, but not eaten. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck?
Well, that was all I had for this chapter.
Good. Yeah. Well, then with that, I think we can go ahead and jump right into chapter 79 of Chainsaw Man, Play Catch.
Hell yeah.
And this chapter, man, was heavy.
Hell yeah.
Super heavy chapter. Which you wouldn't think. I mean, I guess the intro cover page, this color page, it's just so cute. I love seeing the three of them as little kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And definitely like this is like the beginning of the heart-wrenching chapter that this is or whatever,
it
right?
Sets
like,
that tone. It sets that tone so well. Like, this is them.
It almost makes you think like if this could have been them in real life, like it could have turned out differently.
Sure.
Well, is this cover foreshadowing in the sense of Aki and Denji have already interacted as children in a psychological world, or whatever, Aki's world, that this is what's going to happen with Power when Denji kills Power too.
Wow.
I could definitely see that happening.
Wow.
And if it does happen,
if this hallucination,
you heard it here first, folks. That's a good prediction.
If this hallucination metaphor is like a thing, like a constant, like theme.
Maybe a common theme for fiends, maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Damn.
So I mean,
we just get a lot of these action panels.
Go ahead. No, that's fine.
I mean, I was just gonna say we just get a lot of these action panels, them going back and forth. This panel of Denji with his arms and legs blown off.
Shit,
man.
Yeah, and it's crazy how like even though Denji is obviously in a form where he doesn't have like a face, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously like his facial expressions are being shown in this hallucination metaphor that Aki is experiencing here, so you can see what he's feeling and like. And how he's dealing with the situation through that younger hallucination version of Denji. You can still, for some reason, I don't know why I feel this way, but I can feel the emotion in his devil face too. Like,
page 10
somehow,
page 10. That this just like side profile shot of Denji in the Chainsaw Man form. You can see emotion in this face, definitely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is crazy that Fujimoto can do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because the hallucination is aiding it, but I feel like even without this hallucination vision,
It's just great art. It's just great paneling.
Yeah,
it's a great you know, you have this stark white background. This is the page 10 thing I'm talking about here. Like stark white background, the shading on it, the dripping blood, you know, like it just the whole thing beautifully sets up like just this like sigh, you know what I mean? Like I literally have to go
and kill my best friend. And it's like and it's like I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like it's not the regular Denji devil face, you know what I mean? Like the tongue isn't out. You know what I mean? Like the mouth isn't open. It's not like a rah. You know what I mean? It's like a almost closed mouth. Like
sure, as close
like
as you can get it with those teeth.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like you can assume a lot about the real human facial expression that he's making behind this helmet.
So just before this, when like you know, just after the panel, Eagle was talking about like Denji's got his legs cut off and his arms on the ground, and when this lady comes over with this knife, and all these people, I was like, no,
the
fucking
puppets
way.
are back.
No, I was like, are they gonna kill Denji?
Oh
like, do they think this is like a fight between devils or something? And they're like, no, just kill one of them at least.
Yeah.
And when she stabs her hand and like gives him blood, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were going to attack Denji too.
And there's a lot I have to say about this.
Get in there.
I mean, I guess I want to first, before I even do all that, that they all know who Chainsaw is after you see, okay, that he didn't stab, you know, or she didn't stab, you know, Denji with that knife. She stabbed herself. They all know who she is. And what that means, I mean, Chainsaw Man being recognized by the public, yes, by who Chainsaw, who Denji or whatever, or at least Chainsaw Man has been fighting for the good. They know this, which if the public is knowing, it can mean one of three things, I think. It could mean either public safety can't suppress the news about him. That's obvious, right? That could be the obvious one. Makima wants the public to know for some reason.
Yeah.
Another one. Or these people, all here, all of them, are controlled by Makima.
Ooh.
And this is, she's aiding the fight.
Bruh.
Because it is a very interesting statement. We saw you on TV. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Did you?
You saw me? When? When was I on TV? But that's a great.
He was on TV.
Point.
He was on the news, though. He was on the news.
Was he? When was he on the news?
I'm pretty sure it's during the Katana Man fight on the train.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that's when he was on the news. But I'm pretty confident Denji has been shown on the news.
Plus, he saved that girl on the train, who obviously went through to go tell people about her experience, which probably brought news, you know, to her place for an interview of some kind. Like,
think about those two times in the story. Do they not both like flashback to the Spider-Man 2 fucking all the people helping fucking
yes, oh
train,
my
bro?
god,
both of those scenes together. And Fujimoto has referenced that in Fire Punch, that Spider-Man 2 moment. So
really,
we know he likes it. Yes, we know he likes that moment.
Awesome.
Yeah, with the civilians helping the hero, like when they're down and out, and like boosting, reinvigorating that morale. Yeah, wow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's the smaller of my 2 points, actually.
Yeah.
So you think initially, okay, why would you stab yourself through the hand? Like, that's overkill. You could just like cut your arm or something and just drip in. Like, you don't have to stab your whole hand, right? I think it's, I don't know if you'd call it symbolic, but I feel like, and this also kind of supports the fact that Makima is controlling these people, though, but it's to show the resolve of these people. I have kids. You gotta save them. Like, I'm gonna do this much to give you blood to encourage you to keep fighting. Like, I didn't just, you know, prick my finger or whatever. I didn't just cut my arm a little bit so I could bleed. I really impaled myself. I mean, I don't know if that's impaled, but whatever. Ran the fucking knife through my hand. Pierced my shit, you know, a serious injury. And it's not just her who did it. Everybody in this group has done it. You see that there's other people there also bleeding into his mouth.
Right.
And so,
why would everybody go like, I'm gonna go that far? You know what I mean? Like, everyone. It
definitely lends to the Makima control.
Yeah, like everyone stabs himself directly. Like, if I saw like if I was like, okay, this motherfucker's blasting the whole block. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that this motherfucker drinks blood to rejuvenate, which is like, you know, like, I guess we saw you on the news and like know that's a thing for you or whatever.
Right.
But like,
so
but like, if I saw someone go through the hand, I'd be like, okay, I want to give this motherfucker some blood too, but I don't know if I'm ready to You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm
just like a little cut
yeah. Like you're bleeding a lot from that. He doesn't need that much blood from me. Maybe I could just go on the
Yeah. You know that at least one of these people, their hand is completely ruined for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
This is not a trivial action. You know, you can
at least two of these people.
Buddy over here with the hoodie too got his hand all the way through too. It's like, fam, somebody's got to be like, I don't need to do that much too.
And a little symbology, you know, in terms of like devils, hell, heaven. This is crucifixion.
Stigmata.
This is a stigmata position. So that's definitely. I think that's definitely the Makima point. I think is a crazy.
That shit's fucking crazy, dude.
And so the resolve is pretty much from here on out is kind of the theme of the chapter to me because so after the resolve of these people, Denji's face, the panel that we've been talking about on page 10 is revolves his resolve sparking back up, his shit is fucking going again, his fucking chainsaw is ready, and from there on out the resolve, not any attack, is what's hitting Aki. Them snowballs is the first ones are just Denji's resolve hitting Aki and Aki being like, oh shit, you know, the you know, seeing like, okay, great shots, all right, and then when he focuses in, sees Denji crying and is like,
this is the killing blow here.
And then and he's only one snowball hits him after that.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly, because he's seeing Denji's pain, which, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about later, but just to kind of get to this point where the hitting in the head, sure, is the death blow to him. And then Aki being with his brother is him already dead.
Yeah, for sure.
This is his whole, the whole interaction basically from the hand stabbing to him getting, you know, the double chainsaw impale. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But was that whole part. But it's great storytelling and great visual storytelling that we will never know if Aki seeing Denji crying in his hallucination, the inner pain, is what stopped him from attacking and gave Denji the opening to win the fight. We will never really know. But this is
a very safe assumption, though. You sold the shit out of that.
It's like how it's just great storytelling, and it's so great that you get to use your mind to, you know, like come up with these points, dig a little deeper, look a little harder. It's why I love this story, and it's you know, like you said, it's a safe assumption. It's not like a mind-blowing assumption you know, but this is.
I mean, I didn't think of
for sure.
Yeah, I didn't think of like the path of the storytelling in that way until you brought it up. Like, obviously, the people coming here and showing the lengths that they'll go to rejuvenate Denji. Sparks his morale and his resolve in a way to where he stands up and goes, all right, Aki, these people are relying on me now. You're going crazy. It's more than just like me fighting my friend now. Now it's like I'm over that initial like shock hump of like, why am I fighting my friend? Now it's like, I have to fight my friend. These people are relying on me. I'm rejuvenated now because of them bleeding for me. So here I am back at full power now. Snowballs hit him. The snowballs are symbolic for his resolve coming back up to stand up and attest him. You know what I mean? Or whatever the word is I'm looking for there.
Contest him.
Contest him. There it is. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like that's really fucking cool. Like I hadn't like thought about that. And I try, ever since you started like really going crazy in your bag about Chainsaw Man, I'm like, all right, I need to bring a little bit more heat to this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here trying to like find shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I didn't even think that like of the flow of symbolism in that way, or the flow of the metaphor in that way. That's fucking amazing, dude. And it is a safe assumption, but it's not an easy one. You know what I mean? Like you painted that picture so well for me.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that it's just, man, it's hard to like come up with, you just like look at these things for a while. It's like it takes 3 or 4 readings. It's like when I go back and look at them again, and I'm just like, there's more here, there's more here, there's more. I just keep telling myself there's more here, there's more here. I don't know what it is yet, but there's more here. And
it's probably never satisfying enough either, too. Like, no matter how much you go back and like read it, no matter like what ideas come in, like it would be really cool if it was this and this. But it's like once you go and finally like we're here for the episode, you're probably like, it's not enough. There's more. Like I still didn't find everything. Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel the same way about Jujutsu, but Jujutsu is like you got to do homework so much for Jujutsu. It's like I spend like about equal amount of time hypothesizing in fucking Chainsaw Man that I do homework for Jujutsu to try to like come with it's basically it's a different approach, but like for those two stories to lead off, it's just like I literally spend like 4 hours on those two stories, like 3 to 4 hours on those two stories, like trying to well,
you can tell it's good shit.
I love it.
So getting back to the chapter, some of the lines that Aki says in this kind of hallucination flashback snowball fight or whatever, it just really hits me really to my heart, you know what I mean? Like I've never seen you cry before. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. Or like later, like when he's like died or whatever, he's like, oh yeah, I wanted to play catch. Like, and where he finally regains, in death his mind back. You know what I mean? He's not taken over by the gun devil. He's not blinded by the gun devil anymore. And now he remembers what his whole life has been about. You know what I mean? Like what is he even doing here? You know what I mean? And, he just wanted to be with his brother, and he wanted to kill a gun devil so that other people didn't have this situation happen to them or whatever.
Yeah, dude. Wow.
Yeah. Denji told Aki specifically to his face that I will not cry over your death.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah, early before Himeno and shit, like when they were beefing, like.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
shit.
That's
shit. And then the double spread with Denji running Aki through amazing art, amazing panel, and then the chainsaw melts away, and he's
not crying,
covered in blood. Yeah, and he's not crying, but he's.
And then he's like just stuck at that.
So is that like how he actually reverts back to his regular form, or is that still inside of the metaphor of the snowball in the snow?
No, we've seen this melting.
Okay.
Before. Yeah.
I thought it was still like inside of like the snow.
No.
The snow.
No, that's how like that goes away. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me get the fucking future devil here posted.
The future devil, man.
I really need to hear what Kiko has to say about this, because I definitely. So I could here. Let me throw it in.
I was mad at first, but I resolved myself. But yes, go ahead.
I'll pose my thoughts in the form of a question here. So like the future devil is laughing, and he says, Aki, you died in the worst possible way, which he did tell Aki before. You are gonna die in the worst possible way, and that's why I'm gonna come kick it with you. Noting that Makima is the one who organized the contract in the first place, right? Like the future devil like is in the basement of public security or whatever, and like everything. And then he continues, "You died in the worst possible way for the chainsaw boy, for Denji." So I'm like, what is the future devil's motivations here? Yeah. It sounds like he has motivations.
Yeah.
Yeah, against the chainsaw man. Clearly against the chainsaw, against Denji. And yes, he didn't lie. He just didn't tell the full truth. You're gonna die the worst possible death. And when I'm like, this ain't the worst possible death, there was way worse deaths. He didn't even know what he did. He was at least had a hallucination, and he doesn't even like know what he was responsible for. So that's actually a pretty decent death for his situation. So at first I'm like, wait, no, and then you went ... for chainsaw, and I'm like, this fucking story's so goddamn tight. And fucking that is the reason though that I went back and thought of when I read it again, and I look at the fucking cover, I'm like, the future devil is the premonition, like that's why this makes so much sense, that this child premonition theme thing is going to happen basically in the future for Power now, like Power being put in Aki's position on the cover, and the future devil like, I can't wait to see how you get fucked up with Power next. Basically,
wow.
Because I know you're going to have to kill her next. And how is that going to happen? I don't think she's going to, because she can't be turned into like what Aki was.
She's just going to be mad that Denji killed Aki, and she's going to be like, fuck that. And her like real devil like nature is going to come out, and it's going to be like, fuck Denji. Yeah. It's just malice now. Like his hands, bro. Like you killed our homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have talked it out with them. You could have tried harder. to bring Aki back, but you killed his ass, so now it's smoke with me next. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's too easy. I think
that is kind of too easy. Yeah.
Work her some way. Maki's got to work her mind some way. But yeah, it's I feel like you're in the right, area as far as not her being actually controlled in the way Aki was. You're turned into this fiend and now you're set as like a fucking kill robot to just kill Denji. I don't think that's going to happen to Power. Right. It's going to be more psychological, and there's going to be Makima attacking her mind in ways and whatever.
How could Makima get in her shit like that though? Because it's like
just make her distrust Denji more and more and more. This is just a start. Like that's why I don't think
she could do a lot of things to fuck with someone psychologically besides just psychologically dominating them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So this I gotta ask again, like Future Devil. Is the Future Devil like basically working for Makima? You know what I mean? Like say the Spider Devil. Spider Devil's literally working for Makima.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Totally on her team. I feel like this is like telling me that the Future Devil is not some like I'm the Future Devil. I'm cool as hell. I can see the future.
Future is psycho.
Yeah, Future is working for Makima.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so crazy.
Well, yeah, and that could be why he, thinks the future is great. Like, hey, I got a good situation going on here. My future is great, and I'm just gonna, do whatever. But I think there's cases to be made on both sides that he could be working for Makima very easily, very easily.
Yeah,
he could also just. Everybody has some kind of bone to pick with Chainsaw, right? Like all these devils, they have some kind of beef against Chainsaw for whatever reason, and he could have his own motivations. Who knows what the fuck they are right now?
Good point.
But it definitely, you can make a case for either or for me, and that's sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, there's no way you can pinpoint this fucking guy's motivation.
Right.
Look at this. I hate this guy.
God.
Oh my God, Eagle, what do you think?
This I don't know. I think the Future Devil. I don't know. I think it's not very outlandish to say he works for Makima because I think every devil that is hemmed up by public safety probably does.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's a pretty safe assumption. Yeah.
It's not super outlandish to say. Yeah. But yeah.
What a chapter though.
I mean, it's not a whole lot to say. I mean, the best panel of the chapter is the last one.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It hits.
Definitely hits. It really hits you.
Yeah.
It's a good send off and conclusion for Aki's character arc.
And I can't even believe Aki is like legit dead.
I know, dude. Like we get like a couple like mind-blowing moments for Aki's death, right? Because it's like
few chapters ago when it said like Aki died.
Yeah, just subtly like Aki's like dead on the list, and it's like no, he's not dead. And then like it's like Aki's now a fucking like hallucinating fucking like gun devil robot. Yeah. Like, but maybe he's dead as fuck now. You know what I mean? And it's like
maybe we have two hybrid boys.
Yeah,
cool,
it's like
no,
he's out of here, and it hits pretty hard for me too, because back in the Tsunami Devil arc with Retsei in the Bomb Devil arc, like his relationship with Angemon or the Angel Devil, like when we were learning about how the Angel Devil's like power works, I had an idea that like the Angel Devil could take the life that he's stored and that he's taken and stored from other humans. And I thought it would be fucking cool as shit, since he's like building this relationship and this bond with Aki. Like, yo, your fucking like time is running out. You've got like 2 years left of life. Like, I'll just bless you with some life, G. Like, I got all this human life here. I know that I can, and we got reinforcement of that because the Angemon could put the life that he's taken and put it into weapons, you know what I mean? Or like take it and subtract it from what he has to add it to something else. So it just further reinforced my idea that like they're going to become like super tight boys, and Angemon's going to be like, take all the life that I fucking have stored so I could go be with this person from my flashback that we still haven't really got closure on entirely. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was going to be a moment where it's like, here's some years, G. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and it makes total sense too. Like even if like he didn't have that power for the entire series, and then him and Aki get into some kind of fight, whatever, and he, unlocks a power very Shonen like okay, I can bless power into more than just weapons, and it's like, all right, well, here I'm gonna, like that wouldn't have been that hard or like to write it. I don't even want to say hard because it would have fit well. Like that would have
it would have made
easy,
sense.
Easy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like Aki could still die a gruesome death, but like just later. You know what I mean? Later than what his time limit was supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so not of time expiration. He died of actual whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and something we haven't even really gone into, I feel like, is what does this mean for the Gun Devil? You know,
it's a great point.
Is the Gun Devil out of there? You know, going back to hell at this point now. Like, if you die as a fiend, does the devil just like recycle, or
that is an amazing
can he
question.
just choose to get out of there, vamp out? Maki-Man probably going to swoop in, grab him up.
Well,
and do what with him?
We don't currently know what happens to the devil when a fiend dies, right? Say when Violence Fiend died, Arai, you know, Violence Fiend, when that character died, like, where did the Violence Devil go? You know, I don't think we know the answer to that question. No. And we also were talking, you know, way back when the Gun Devil was reintroduced recently, was that just its top half? You know what I mean? Like because it was kind of floating there with no legs.
Yeah, did bring
and like
that up.
And because other countries have parts of the Gun Devil, so like what if America had the top half and say Soviet Union has the bottom half or something?
Yeah.
But like is it around? Is it now only in the Soviet Union? It's there's so many open questions. It's hard for me to say.
Yeah, and that, I mean, you can say the same thing about Future Devil. That's what also I thought about. It's like, okay, if Aki's body was taken over by the Gun Devil and became the Gun Fiend, even though there was more to it than that. He was autonomous, right? Like he wasn't like Power. He wasn't like all the fiends we've seen thus far that had fucking, you know, willpower of their own. You know, so who knows? It's really hard to say, but like if he dies, I mean, did the Future Devil die when it took his body out, or did he just jump out of the eye and leave? You know, before,
a contract wouldn't kill the Future Devil. You know what I mean? Like, I think the Future Devil just leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's fair, but I mean,
he's still alive. He's on the building right now.
Well, yeah, but did he die and reincarnate? You know, like, or whatever,
you can't reincarnate
come back
without chainsaw, right?
Well, yeah, no, it's just so hard to say for sure. I mean, that's what we've been told, but you know, that's just kind of. I mean, sure, Future Devil could have just jumped out of the eye before he got hit with the blast of fucking whatever turned him into a fucking Gun Devil in the first place.
If anyone could, it'd be the Future Devil.
I don't even think even if he is in the eye when that happens, like, does that kill him? Probably not. I don't think.
That's the question. Exactly.
Right.
Like, that's the question.
I think it's safe to say that since the Future Devil is obviously alive and around, that
whatever happens,
whatever happened, whatever happens, but whatever did happen, it didn't kill him. You know what I mean? Like, he just jumped out. We'll say.
Yeah, jumped out is the safest bet. He saw the future, what was going to happen. All right, well, and obviously he knew the future the whole time, so it's just like, okay, this was always part of the plan. It's time for me to jump out now, you know, like, definitely. All right, that's all I got.
That's all I have.
I'm good.
Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and move right into chapter 25, I almost said 35, of Mashle. Lance Crown and the higher tier of magic.
This chapter was some shit, bro. And
super sick.
Not only was this like an amazing chapter for Lance's character and this Worth character's, character, you know what I mean? But the art was phenomenal throughout. Yep. It did like if you just looked at this fucking chapter like isolated from like every other chapter, if someone just like randomly decided like let me see what's going on and like let me check this Mashle shit out, just like came across this chapter, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's a fucking like comedy like gag manga at all.
No.
You know what I mean? Which is cool. That
super
not every
serious.
chapter has to have gag in it.
Right.
Which further like goes into, that point that we've been bringing up, that it's moving away from that like gaggier atmosphere and like going into like a more like serious like situation, but not too serious, you know what I mean? Like whenever Mosh is on screen, it's going to be funny. Whenever Finn,
it's going to be more in the One Punch Man direction, where it's like there's gags and there's super serious badass shit.
Yes, and it's cool. Yeah.
Get you a manga who can do both.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I read this chapter last of all the chapters, whatever, right? And so I'm like, reading Jujutsu Kaisen. Whoa, geez, fucking crazy chapter.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man. Whoa, One Piece. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And like, get to Mashle. All right, like, what about Mashle? Holy crap!
Yeah.
Even Mashle.
Yeah, even Mashle is
slapping
going
this
crazy.
week.
And the
so
main
loud.
point before I let you guys, do your thing is I just want to say that for a manga that was introduced so gaggy, for it to go into like a tried and true shonen arc with like all of the main protagonists in individual fights going forward, for that to start off with such a strong like character driven confrontation like we have with Lance and Worth shows what the author is thinking here about the future of this series, first of all. Second of all, like it's really fucking cool how the previous chapter for this was a very physical or magical situation inside of their exchange or inside of their conflict, and then the confrontation ends on a very psychological note. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to end with just a physical domination or a magical domination of the opponent. It can end with a psychological W for Lance here, which is really fucking cool to see inside of this manga specifically, because you wouldn't expect it. It's the last manga you would expect to not like really adhere to those shonen tropes of I'm stronger than you, I'm better than you, and that's confirmed by your utter defeat in an obliterated state of my magic overcoming.
The win
you.
is defined by you bloody on the ground, knocked out.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
That's not how this has to go. Apparently,
Yes, exactly.
Which is really
Which is crazy to see inside of a story like Mashle. Because you would think that if it does move out of that gaggy atmosphere and does go into a more shonen situation, that it's not going to go above and beyond to subvert shonen expectations in this way.
Right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Which is really fucking cool to fucking see. And we also get, more world building inside of like how this magic system works with like the three classifications of magic manipulation in general inside of like, what does it say?
Basic, personal,
and conditional. That's
Yes.
I know, like that shit had me like, oh!
I was wondering why
So
you said so many words
Lance's
before you got there. I thought
right?
that you were just gonna lead off conditional magic.
Yeah.
Yes, right. I thought that was exactly what you were.
Well,
gonna start with.
psychology is my bag too. You know what I mean? So it's like I gotta. But yes, I definitely like the me that I know should have been like, energy system exposition is my favorite shit I ever see. You know what I mean? But it's just like this is an amazing. This is my favorite chapter of Mashle so far, easily.
Well, and I'm saying like for a manga that has been a gag manga, but obviously we know it's like maybe like a 60-40, split, probably like 40% gag, 60% serious, whatever you want to split it as. Yeah. When you see a magic system like this already getting defined, so
chapter 25, like
25, yes, and visually too with the pyramid, which is a great visual thing to see, where it's the little chip, like, hey, we're the. I guess that's kind of twofold with the second, magic, which is a huge deal, obviously. Second, dear second.
Yes.
I kind of view it as like kind of a Final Fantasy, like you got like fire, you got Fira, you got
Firaga.
Second sounds like some sort of like magical, like an ability in a video game or something. I think it fits really well. It does sound hilarious, but
only double liners can use it because it's second. So
right.
And so
we're gonna get third.
Are we gonna get third? I was just gonna
Ford.
say
We're gonna get Ford.
But like, I guess I'm not really keen on the idea of just like randomly introducing. Oh yeah, here's a 3-line person. Here's a 4-line person. You know what I mean? Like they're really hyping 2-liners. You know what I mean? And so like, are there just no 3-liners in the school? I would accept a 3-liner.
Not in school. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There could be a very small amount of 3-liners out there, but if we were getting 4 lines, it's like, no, we're getting out of hand here.
But he also says another thing is that he says I've been a double liner since birth.
Yeah.
Right. So like that like makes me think
can you
like
grow and gain?
Can you
more
grow
lines?
into it?
Yeah. Can you grow into a double liner? You know what I mean? Otherwise, why would they focus on the since birth part?
Yeah.
And if you can grow into it, I would love if you could. It would have to be a very, very powerful moment in your life, a very extreme moment, because there are the high-level characters in this manga, like the headmaster. I'm pretty sure the headmaster is a 1-liner.
Yeah,
and he does crazy magic. You know what I mean?
Which is
and
reassuring to me to know that lines don't dictate everything. You know what I mean? Like double line has something to do with your potency and like your just like natural like capabilities, maybe, you know what I mean? Like or just like prodigious talent. But like you can be a single liner, and depending on how you use that magic or just, you know, any combination of factors besides just mana reserve and mana potency can make you effective over people who are blessed with 2 lines or 3 lines or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's going to create a very interesting dynamic in future conflicts where you have people that have a certain advantage because of they have 2 lines and people that have a certain advantage because of what they've done with their single line. You know what I mean? So that's going to be fantastic. And I have all the confidence in the world for this fucking mangaka to deliver that in an amazing fashion. So...
Right.
And it makes total sense of growing into it too. I mean, just kind of thus far what we've seen, even though the headmaster having one is kind of questionable. You'd think a guy like that would have grown into having one if he could, but he also has a full ass face covered of beard. Maybe he's got a little another line that doesn't come from the eye.
That's true.
Does it have to come from the eye?
Does it have to come from the line?
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
True.
But aside from that, even the other Ameses we've seen, Rhodes Ames and Rain Ames, both are double liners, but Finn is not.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, for him, you know, I mean, is he going to be the Usopp of the story and maybe never get double lined? I mean, I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But you know, I would
really like to see the double line aspect be the Super Saiyan moment.
Yeah.
Be the moment of I need to just go the extra level, some huge, very chaotic emotional situation, and boom, you grow the other line, and then that's when you like, I don't know if you learn your second spell like immediately? Is that just like an innate thing, or do you also have to like learn it later after becoming double line? I'm excited for all these questions to get answered later.
And another thing is that like, okay, so if Worth is going to go in depth to say I've been a double liner since birth, like, are we assuming that Lance has also been a double liner since birth, or maybe he got his second line when like this resolve for like the well-being and future of his sister like came about? Like, I don't remember in certain flashbacks that we've gotten, you know what I mean, for him to like, I don't remember like how young we've seen Lance, you know what I mean, but like, could his second line have come, you know, from if it is going to be a very serious moment in your life that you do eventually, you know, develop this second line, was that because of his sister? You know what I mean? Because like, obviously he's got a second spell that didn't just come out of like, this isn't a Super Saiyan moment. You know what I mean? This is like,
he already had
he's had this in his bag. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Which I had to say, I love this setup where like you have this battle and you know, it begins with him saying like, oh, my parents raised me to be like a idiot or whatever. It so sucks to have my parents or whatever. And then he's like, you know, you can't even do this second level magic. And as he's describing it, you think in your mind like, well, Lance is just gonna reveal his second level magic, right? But even if you know, like, as it's happening that like it's gonna happen, it was still super cool to see
and it's
him
because of
do
the execution, not only just the like aesthetic design of his second spell, but also the fact that he only uses it to deal with the magic and not crush the opponent thereafter. You know what I mean? So like, that's definitely what you would expect.
It's fucking strong. Rip that guy apart.
I'm glad you brought up the aesthetic design, because like, it's crazy to see the story getting flexed in this way, because the artwork is just also like
so good.
This author's incredibly talented. With this
super talented.
With the story, not only, but with this artwork at the same time. Like this double page spread panel of him activating the Graviole second. Yeah. With all these coming down and the beast in the background. The chains wrapping up them. Oh, that's just such a beautiful panel right there.
Absolutely. That reminds me that we were talking last week about how about 2 weeks ago, where this character, he had this like the aura of this, you know, goat or ram or whatever it is, you know what I mean? That, like, we're like, what is that? And that was this, right? That was like, it's hard to say that it was this exact ability being used as a flex. But it was like the malice energy, this like you know, energy intent that showed I could do this, you know what I mean? This is like,
I think it's like the ram, like the mana malice that we saw chapters ago is a representation of like what his bloodlust or what his fighting spirit looks like, and then he molds his magic thereafter into that shape as well, because that's his like representation of his fighting spirit. That's the shape that this kind of thing would take if he did decide to use magic of this degree. Yeah,
for sure. I fully agree with that. And then when we're looking at Gravioli second here,
Gravioli. Gravioli, give me the formuoli.
Give me the torture poli.
Yeah, torture poli. Oh my god. Torture pole. What a cool fucking name.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit. You don't like it?
I want to know the actual translation just to see. I feel like this was Viz laziness to me. I don't know.
I thought it was a cool English name though.
Sure. I mean, it's well, anything with torture in it sounds serious.
That's fair.
So,
torture, motherfucker. Oh yeah, go ahead. No, I'm not gonna do it.
No. But you see how
I skipped that song.
Saturn.
Too much.
You see how the Saturn earrings or the Saturn is within his ability. There's Saturn.
Wait, what?
I did not notice that. I love that.
Oh no!
That's so cool.
Oh,
I did not notice that. Yeah, within the blades. Yeah. It's a little Saturn. Oh, that's so tight. I didn't even notice that. That's super cool.
That is super cool, man. There's a couple of good things I still got. And we were talking about art. Like, if you just even go back to the first page, behind fucking, Worth's parents is the fucking cathedral. Fucking beautiful. And the steps, look at how much fucking detail are on the steps on the first fucking page, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's just crazy when you look at this guy's art, man. He's killing the game, man. Like, man.
Yeah.
Hajime Komodo, man.
Yeah, doing his thing, man. This shit is so fucking good. And then kind of back a little bit towards the beginning of the chapter, he talks about this is concentrated magic essence, right?
Yes,
this is what we took. This is what we took from people, basically making them in that comatose state. And were they putting this essence into the dolls to make it, act as them? And they keep you I don't know, however much of this. See, it's hard to think because when they went and talked to the guy in the infirmary, I forget who he was, but he was like, I was trapped in a box.
Yeah.
My magic was stolen. It's very reminiscent of when a Nen ability is stolen, like what Crollo does. Like, my magic essence, but they can cultivate it and liquefy it and put it in a vial for you to drink.
Yeah.
And so the question there is this like maybe the runoff or like the I don't know, just a less amount of like maybe what was put into the dolls? Because like I would feel like if my magic essence is in this vial and I was trapped in this fucking, cube fucking in my dreams or whatever until it was used up. Yeah. Am I comatose until this guy drinks this? And if he drinks it, do I ever wake up?
Right.
That's a good question.
I can't wait to get more on this magic essence shit because this is huge. This is so fucking huge. Like, what does this really mean for the future? Yeah.
Yeah, and another question that the bottled liquefied magic essence kind of brings up is that like obviously this was a conflict that seemed to like be like following along the philosophy of like nature versus nurture, right? And now because obviously and we get that reinforced because he's like, I was born a double liner. Now if we're going along the if you're subscribing to the theory that you can obtain a second line later in life, right? Then like this becomes like it feels like it's trying to go like a nurture versus nurture kind of situation where the nurture of Worth and his like cultivation as a mage inside of like hard work that you see him studying and like working like up towards, even given his prodigious talent that he was blessed with as a double liner at birth, you know what I mean? He's still working to make himself more worthy there after the fact, and he's not just relying on his nobility like aspect, you know what I mean, or his nobility factor rather, you know what I mean? So like but at the same time it's like, did the magic essence that he drank allow him to reach a level where he could use a second spell? Because he doesn't go into second form until he drinks the magic essence. But Lance has second without the magic essence. So like
without breaking a sweat.
Without breaking a sweat. So like does your awakening of your double line give you more of an advantage than someone who is born with a double line? Because obviously
sure.
You know what I mean, like Worth like I'm saying, you know, had to drink the fucking vial before he could activate this next level of spell.
Right.
And you know, and Lance already had this shit in his back pocket. So it's a really cool, like it introduced, like, it's just subverting expectations again. You know what I'm saying? Like it's introducing a nature versus nurture kind of situation, but then tries to act like it's actually nurture versus nurture, because Worth is still a very hardworking individual given his prodigious talent, but still needs steroids to reach the level that Lance is already at naturally.
Right.
And it's just like,
I
it's
think
crazy how much depth we get inside of this conflict.
Yeah, I think your nurture versus nurture point is actually kind of a good one, because that's shonen.
Yeah,
shonen is nurture versus nurture. I train harder. I you know what I mean. It's so common of that to be like the conflict or whatever. So like I think you're totally spot on there for sure.
Yes.
I don't know. It's hard to say, because I mean, is this because Worth selfishly gains strength, where Lance has something to protect, something he holds dear, and he's driven, and he's been driven this way? I mean,
I wouldn't say selfishly either, because
especially
obviously he's under a lot of pressure. Yeah, we get the backstory
chapter
where he's under a lot of pressure for performance from the people that, you know, he holds dear to him, like, or that are above him in his life, and he wants to make himself worthy in their eyes. So like, that's just as much something to work for as, you know, Lance and his sister. You know what I mean? Like you can obsessively, you know,
I was just say that's to me, like, especially even in like within the shonen like framework of storytelling,
you
right?
want to meet expectations of the people above you.
Well, and in those, with those, in that framework, when you have something to protect, an actual like physical, you know, a person, like something you really, that's so much more. I guess I won't say it's so much more. I'll say it's
you can agree with the motivations
ideals.
more. But it's still, it's like what's the deciding factor here? How much better your motivations are, or how hard you work for those motivations?
But your motivations strive you to work harder. Lance worked harder. I would say Lance worked harder than Worth, clearly, right? I would have to think so, especially since Lance is in a I won't call it black sheep situation, but he's just like he's praised because of his two lines, but he's also shunned by his ideals and the way he goes about his life. You know, like, you're in the fucking, you know, you're not in Lang house like you should be. You're in Adler, you know, you know, one-liner. You're hanging out with filth, like, and that's what makes his dialogue so powerful to me personally. I mean, it's just kind of like a mentality that, you know, in the city where I was raised, like, it's just how you kind of operate. Like, I have a lot of different people of a lot of different walks of life in my life, right? And so it's like, these people are different than me, and my squad will bring out these different things. I have things to learn from them, even though I consider them inferior magically or whatever, you know, strength-wise, they're inferior to me, but they have all these other things to bring to the table that I can still learn from and grow from, and that's what you're missing. And on top of that, you better not talk shit about my people. Only I can fucking talk about my people. I love my people. So like, if you're gonna talk shit, we're fighting. But like, it's me. This is my place to do this to my people. So don't come. You know, like, that's just a theme that resonates well for me. And it's like since the moment I read the story, I'm like, Lance is a G. Lance is a G. Lance is a G. I get to this fucking chapter, and I'm like, Lance is a motherfucking G. I love it. I just love Lance.
Lance
so
is
much.
definitely best boy of the series right now.
I just love Lance so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love Lance so much. Yes.
And I love at the very end of this chapter where you know, he's talking after he's, you know, readily defeated, you know, the other guy, whatever, in his magic, and he as he's giving his monologue, he's getting flashbacks to his little sister, and she's like, you know, I want to be a singer. You know, oh, what, you don't think I can do it? Like, mom and dad say I can't, but I think it's important to try anyway. And you can, as Lance is saying what he's saying, you can tell that he really takes to heart her viewpoint. You know what I mean? Her
and you see that in his character.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's definitely a very
expected of you.
Yeah, it's definitely a very intense parallel there, because it's like he's an Adler, like Kiko was saying. You know what I'm saying? He should be, you know, in a higher, you know, locale as far as like what his, you know, his magic allows him to do, or what his potential is there for. You know what I mean? So maybe it's not like a direct parallel, but it's like he's bringing himself down, in ways that don't make sense, where his sister is trying to bring herself up in ways that don't make sense. So I don't know, maybe that's not as direct as I originally thought, but it's like their situations are different than like what people expect of them. You know what I mean? But they're still going to try hard for their situation regardless of what's expected of them. Yeah.
And this line at the end where he's like, what you're saying,
where he's like, all I wanted was love, right? He's like,
well, it's hard to say. It's
all I wanted was.
Wait, where's this?
I think he was going
page.
to love.
I could see it for sure. It's hard to say exactly what he would say, but like this is a very powerful moment. Lance saying, I respect the work you put in. I think you're a shit person, but like I respect the work you put in. And after the the flashback with his little sister or whatever, and this inner monologue of the enemy.
We could see future allyship from this character.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And definitely.
Yeah.
Well, and I like a lot of what Noxie was talking about psychological defeats. Like, I don't have to splatter you in there because you guys were both talking about it. Like, this story, and really magic stories that don't have a lot of physical character or maybe physical confrontations lends well to this, where you can totally demoralize them, destroy their magic, outclass them in every way, and I don't have to fucking blow you to smithereens, right? Like, you're just done. Chilling now you know your place. Don't fuck with me. Like, that's gonna be great. I think if we keep seeing that in the future. I mean, it leads a lot to like that's psychological battle, right? Like, in future, like if Lance, has, I wouldn't say like a future conflict, but future interaction with this guy. Like, this guy reforms himself maybe a little bit, but Lance could have some kind of like, maybe they become rivals where it's not like actually like evil, good versus
just
evil,
like a
but like just some
kind of situation.
A respect kind of rivalry. And Lance can always like kind of play at the, I've already emotionally and whatever defeated you and you have to now, take the crown, no pun intended, I guess.
Which makes me super excited for future conflicts, like even in this arc. It's like, if we're seeing a fight like this in this very first fight, what are the future fights with like Finn and Ma and Mash, you know what I'm saying, and everybody else involved going to look like, if like this is your leading situation inside of the conflict of this arc, you know what I'm saying? And when you have conflicts that end in psychological defeat, I feel like that warrants better growth and development for characters than like physical defeat, because obviously you could take an ass whooping and go, okay, I got a lot of growing to do here. You know what I'm saying? But like when you're defeated psychologically, how much more intense is that need to be better? You know what I mean? Inside of you, that grows inside of you after a defeat like that. Yeah.
You have more things to improve on when you lose psychologically, right? Like, you got to go back to the drawing board of yourself and reflect on yourself, and exactly. And it'll never be ass pulley where like characters come out of nowhere, when they just got beat up and you're just like, their faces are crushed into the wall, they look like they're dead, but like they're just later.
All of a sudden they tap into an unknown mana reserve they didn't have, and now boom, it's a Super Saiyan situation. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like when it's psychological like this. It's like. You have to go back to the drawing board. It's not just going to happen at the split. You're not going to like find brand new resolve, because like it's easier to find brand new resolve when you're physically taken out. You know what I mean? Like because you can transcend the physical and rely on your mental to bring you into the next stage of the fight. But when you're crushed mentally, what can your physical body do in the opposite situation to bring you to that next level? Exactly.
Well, and you lost physically too. No matter what, you just automatically by default lose completely when you lose mentally, right? Like it's just you lose in every way.
There's nothing else to
whereas
rely
physically,
on.
exactly. Yes, definitely.
Wow. So, Mashle, baby, what the fuck? Hajime, Komodo. What a fucking champion, dog.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
I think
I'm good.
That about does it for Mashle.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So with that then, we can go ahead and move right into chapter 259 of Black Clover, Raging Bull Unison.
How do you guys feel about this?
I
really like Aster's Berserker arm.
Yeah, the chapter.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Aster's
tight.
Berserker arm?
Tight.
Super cool.
Yeah, super tight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You guys, okay. No,
well, the main thing that I want to say, the main positive thing that I want to say about this is that it's getting more and more likely that our prediction of this fight ending in this way is going to mean for the story what we, kind of predicted chapters and chapters ago.
That M.A.G.A is actually the main.
Not just that, but like the conflict inside of the triad itself, right? Because M.A.G.A and Zeno accomplish their goals, and then Dante comes back to the crib with his ass whooped.
Yep.
Sure.
Now he's been saying this for like 2 months, and it's been so good. I've been like, oh, I hope this happens.
Yes. Now it's like, okay, so like you're our leader, right?
Yeah.
And you couldn't, like, we handled our business, and you, like, we had to come save you. Like, they're either gonna pull up right now and swoop him up, or he's gonna have to go back to the crib with a fucking steak on his eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't pull it off, you guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
steak on his eye.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna like that. Like, what does that mean for, their relationship as Dark Triad members? Like, you fucking blew it, bro. And you're supposed to be you're supposed to be the leader, G. Like, so now we're fighting in that regard. But also, if they shun or this is where I don't want it to go. A future ally inside of Dante, because the Triad have casted him out, and he's been humbled by this situation.
It's not gonna happen. Impossible.
You say it's impossible until he goes back to the crib. You say it's impossible until no. Because listen. I understand that. Listen. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Okay. Right. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Right. So if we're going off of that, he doesn't have to go, I'm a new man, I'm reborn again in the Clover side. It doesn't have to be like that. But like, if he goes back to the crib and they say, fuck you, you blew it, get the fuck out of here, you suck. Now he's mad at them. How dare you? And now they have, like, the Clover motherfuckers and Dante have the same enemy. So like, whether he is on their side legitimately or not, he wants revenge against the Dark Triad for casting him out, and they also need to run up on the Dark Triad because they've got their people. So like, why
really
wouldn't
hope
that
doesn't
be?
happen. It sounds awful.
I know. That's why I'm saying that.
It's why I start to follow Noxie in the fact that, I mean, it does seem super unlikely, but could Dante just act like he's a new man and go tell fucking Clover Kingdom, man, you guys really humbled me? Or I don't know, like you'd have to have some more there. And act like he's with them and try to join up to, okay, I'm going to take out fucking Zeno and fucking Vanica, and then I'm going to kill y'all after I'm done with that. So
exactly, he doesn't have to be redeemed, but like, they have their motivations. I don't think it's gonna happen either. I don't think it's like. And remember, I specifically said I hope it doesn't go down this path. Like, I prefaced the thought with that, but I'm thinking logically here. You know what I'm saying? If it does,
the way this plot line goes is Dante joins the good team. They fight the bad team, and he's actually bad, in his heart. So when the shit's hitting the fan, he switches sides back to the bad team to try and get on their good side, and hurts our protagonist or whatever. Yeah. And that's just like, that's just trash. I hate that. It's too much. Like you can see it happening, played out, and it's like I don't want it to happen. So I agree with you. I hope it does not happen.
Yes.
So in terms of the arm, Kiko, you started us off with what do you think of the arm?
Well, I was just making a joke. Well, I was just making a joke to begin with. I just said it's Asta's Berserker arm.
Yeah.
You got an arm.
I didn't hear you say arm.
Yeah.
I mean, and it wouldn't come from me since I'm the one here that is not the Berserk guy compared to you three. But like,
right.
But
so like,
I mean,
it's
tell me that
Berserk.
doesn't look like
for sure. But at the same time, it's like, okay, so his devil, the anti-magic devil, says, I can't just give you this ability for free. You got to give up something here.
That's where I'm very confused here.
Right. Yeah. So like, you have to give up something here. Obviously, a body part, I think, is what he said specifically. And we can assume it's the arm because he gets power in the arm. So once this devil power runs out, which he says you have 50 seconds, is it 50 seconds? And then he says you're going to be knocked out. Like, your body's not going to be able to take it anymore using this power. So like, is the detriment, like, you lose the arm and you're physically exhausted from using this power? Like, exactly. So like, why did he say you need to give me a body part just to imbue?
That is exactly why I'm confused, because it made it imply last chapter that like you have to give me something. Yeah. Like you might lose your arm to do this. You know what I mean?
But now you lose your arm and you have now you just have a time limit, and then you're cooked. and then you go back to normal and just don't have this arm anymore.
If he's even cooked, he
yeah,
might
yeah,
just be fine after the 50 seconds. If nothing bad happens to Asta here, I'm gonna be like, what the hell was what was that last thing?
Exactly, like what the fuck?
Problem with that whole thing too, and him losing an arm is he's already lost arms. Is he going back to the Blood Witch again to get it back again?
No, well, his arms were cursed.
Yeah.
Sure.
It wasn't a loss of arms.
It could still be a cursed situation in his arm where you just don't have.
Well, then just go back to the Witch Queen and just have her uncurse it.
6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. You don't got an arm, you can't use it. It's not there. It's a dead lump of flesh, or there's no flesh. Regardless, you don't have an arm that you can use. And it's like, are we going to keep playing at like Asta could possibly lose his arms over and over and over again, like because that's his power? Like we can't keep doing that, right? Like I don't know. Maybe we will, but I just think that like it makes no sense for him to lose an arm, especially when he has 3 swords, right?
Or maybe he loses an eye and gets an eye patch. Asta with an eye patch would be kind of tight.
Let's keep going more berserk. Let's just like that's fine. That's cool. I'm fine with that. I like berserk.
I like berserk.
Oh my god.
I mean, sick fight. I really enjoyed it, and like the
more
the chapter
choreography.
Yeah, and the chapter title, what was it? Bull. What was it called?
Raging Bull Unison.
Yeah, Raging Bull. Yeah, you can tell the chapter title here. Like Yami and Asta are really killing it here. This teamwork, it's pretty tight.
Well, it's to be expected when it's the only 2 characters that fight like this in the story, and they're on the team, and they both use black magic, and they're both like black, shadows of each other, kind of. It's just like it's like. Obviously, they're going to fight in unison. Honestly, they're both going to be we're smiling, we're having a great time out here. It's like, and it's cool, and it's shonen-y, but it's just like, I don't know, like
it's just surrounded by everything else that we cover. It's like this is feels very
it's just
shallow.
Regular.
It's very normal. It's very
not
generic.
special. Not generic. Yeah, that's it.
Even with the genericness of it, you can't tell me that on page 12, when at this point in the battle, Dante has hid away all the swords, which is a very smart strategy. And Yami tosses Asta the sword. You can't tell me that was
tight. That was super tight. But now here's my question.
And the blade growing black.
Yes.
Like, oh, damn.
That was raw as fuck. But now here's my question. So obviously he's using magic to separate these like swords from Asta that are anti-magic. So like he's got his magic engulfing these swords and keeping them away from Asta. How is that not dissipating the magic that's using to bind them?
Well,
because he's grabbing, he's literally grabbing the swords with his body modification magic.
Well, I think what his magic does is modifies his body,
right?
But he still has the body,
right? Yeah, and that's where I went too.
And any person can touch these swords. It doesn't do anything to you to touch Asta's swords if you touch them. So he's grabbing them with his hands,
right?
And
but the only reason why his body is taking this shape in a way to where he can long range grab these swords in like a
it's a fair question.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like his body is modified in this like tentacular.
Yeah.
Like shape because of the body modification magic. So like, if he grabs the sword while the magic is making his body, like you want to say he can do it because that's his body and not magic, but like the magic is the reason why his body has that form in the first place. So if he grabs the fucking anti-magic sword, his arm should just go back to a normal arm, shouldn't it?
And this is where I'm confused. Way back on page 3, on page 3, page 2 and 3, like the first time in this chapter where Asta uses the new devil arm to attack Dante, and Dante goes like, as if this sword attack was somehow different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He definitely makes it seem like just being touched by this Asta's sword, in and itself is painful in some way that other regular attacks aren't painful. And so
that was the time he hit him with the right arm, right?
Yeah, he hit him with the right arm.
Where he cuts the
sunk like way into his arm and crunch and broke his forearm or some shit.
Right. But like
so
he's been cut before many times this chapter by Yami, say, or Asta, and he's always been like, oh, it's no big deal, whatever.
Right. So the anti-magic by itself should just dissipate the magic it runs into. But now that he has the anti-magic arm, his anti-magic is more anti-magic?
No.
And like dissipates more of the spell? Well, why not?
Because he's slapped fucking Magna's magic back before, and he's slapped other magic back. Right. It doesn't just instantly dissipate whenever
you're right.
it touches.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. That's good. That's good. That's good. I like that.
Yep,
all right, Eagle.
Yep. And so I have to be consistent in the way of my critique here, and I feel like a lot of this battle is kind of like just gobbledygook a little bit. You can see what's happening a little bit, but like a lot of this, like, okay, so here's the thing. Like, let me start where do I start?
Dante as an opponent is just like so underwhelming in the same way that I feel like the word devil was, you know what I mean, in the elf arc, you know what I mean, like there wasn't enough time spent on like we got the motivations. We see that he's like just like an incorrigible, you know, enemy that needs to be defeated, and he's going to like, you know, become unhinged and be, you know, obsessed with himself and think that he's the tightest thing since sliced bread, and then he's an overwhelming, you know, physical and magical presence against the protagonist, and where they have to dig deep in order to pull out the W and whatnot. But it feels so flat because like the villains in Black Clover just aren't handled the way that we see villains on a psychological level in other stories that we review, you know what I mean? And just other stories that we love in general. So it's like,
that's just not debatable in any way.
Like the conflicts just 100% don't feel deep enough to where like I want to, like, I'm at a point now in my shonen readings where it's like I want to care for these villains a little bit before they're defeated. And like when you have just like crazy maniacal villains that are just like evil because they're crazy, like you can try to give them pathos with like flashbacks here and there, but like it all just ends up like with their tragic backstory being like, people wronged me in a way that made me crazy, and now I'm crazy as shit, and you gotta beat me up.
Dante's flashback, he even had a flashback, and it didn't even do anything for his character. All it said was, yes, I'm crazy now, and guess what? I was also crazy back then before I met the devil. I'm actually really a psychopath, just for the record.
So fuck me up. You know what I mean? It doesn't do anything. Like, obviously it advances the plot, you know what I mean? And that's cool or whatever. But like, did I learn something new about Asta and Yami as characters and Dante as characters by the end of this conflict? No, I didn't fucking learn anything new about these characters. I've a fight should teach you something new. Like a fight of this scale, I should learn something more about I should understand these characters more. You know what I mean? To some degree.
At least the villain for sure. Like especially at this time with Asta and Yami having so much time, it's like you know who they are, right? Like like their characters can still grow. Not to say they're not going to grow, but like you don't necessarily need that out of like every fight that they're in, since we know they have fights. But like the villain, you definitely need it from. And it does. It kind of falls flat in that way. But back to kind of what I was talking about like, because the thing that I harp on Hero about is these explosion fucking panels with a bunch of shit happening, and it's hard to tell. Exactly
I was wondering if you were going to say anything about this, because it was kind of hard for the first time in Black Clover.
It's pretty hard to
tell like what's actually happening here. Wow.
When this is Tabata's strong suit, you know, like that's why you know, like you gotta be consistent on that. And I had to say, but like that's the notes that I had. It's like, so okay, he has Demon Slayer. And let me just get the panel so I can make sure. Okay,
real quick, I just want to ask this question. What is this on page 2? Flying past Asta in the top right. It looks like a boxing glove. Like what is this thing on page 2 in the top right corner?
It's a rock.
It's a rock? It doesn't look like any of the other rocks next to it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like, okay, page 2.
Rocks don't look alike.
I see it.
Yeah, I know, but this is a dark, like all the other rocks are light colored and
Asta.
That's Asta, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Oh, it's an after image of Asta. Okay. All right, cool. All right, continue.
All right, so page 8, Asta's had Demon Slayer the whole time up until page 8, using Demon Slayer, and it gets knocked away, boom, up in the air, flies away, or kind of, and he throws his fucking symbiote gunk on it and just smashes it in the ground and holds it there. And then he calls Demon Dweller. Where the fuck did Demon Dweller come from? It didn't come out of no book. It's just flying away. Was it already out there, like in the ground or something? And he's pulling, like, because I don't remember him using Demon Dweller.
I don't remember that either.
It must have been out, unless it's just a mistake, because the next sword he does pull from the book.
Demon Destroyer does come out of the book. Exactly right. That's why I had it.
Wait, he has 3 swords now? I forgot about Demon Destroyer. Wait. So Demon Slayer is the original one. Demon Dweller is the one that he gets from Patry to like reverse the fucking elf magic in everyone inside of the elf arc or whatever.
So
like
Demon Dweller,
that's the Demon Destroyer.
Oh
yes, Demon Destroyer is Patry,
Demon Dweller is the long range anti-magic sword.
The one where he can use magic that's stored up within it to
which he got that way back fighting Mars in the first
that's
dungeon.
right. Okay. So Demon Slayer is the original. Demon Dweller is the one that shoots the anti-magic like wind attacks out of it. You know, like it's the long ranged anti-magic.
Not only it can also harness his magics around him. He can put fucking lightning magic into Demon Dweller and throw lightning magic from Demon Dweller. Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's always been able to. Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't remember that. But that's all right. That's fine. And then Demon Destroyer is the one from the elf arc that reversed the effects of the reincarnation magic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm back on page now. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
So that's the thing too. That was a part of this losing an arm. You got 3 swords. Like you can't be losing an arm. Like you need all them arms. Like this ain't One Piece. And even if it is 3 arms, you need the mouth, right? If you're gonna use all 3. So like I mean, or Killer Bee, and you're gonna juggle them while fighting.
Keep them in the folds of your like, in here and in the back of your knee and shit.
So and so I don't know, just like seeing like the way this worked out in this chapter, I'm like, man, this feels like I need to look at these panels for too long to figure out what's happening, and it just always like some manga, like I like to look at the panels for a long time, like Fujimoto's story, like because it's like there's storytelling.
There's more you can learn from it. Yeah,
exactly. Where this, I'm just trying to decipher what's actually happening, which is the thing that aggravates me about Hero sometimes. And Horikoshi's gotten a lot better at that. So like I just wanted to be consistent to say, hey, this is one of those where I feel like I'm looking at this panel for too long to figure out what happened. And some of these I still don't even know exactly what happened. So
I do love this panel on the bottom of page 11, the "It's Over" panel, where he's like regenerating, and it's like. That's probably the most beautiful panel to me in this whole. I mean, the anti-magic going up the katana page and the slash thereafter is actually probably way better. But I just love the detail in his regeneration, inside of page.
No, it's good. So is Dante dead?
I think he's defeated.
Is he dead?
No, hell no.
Really?
Probably not. I think it's hard to say.
The devil could possibly break out of him, and he would be dead. And then the devil goes and does something. I don't know, but like somebody would have to like
that can happen.
Yeah, you're probably right, because somebody would have to be able to like harness the devil or something. Like you couldn't just like run free.
All of a sudden, he's like, because that's the point that they're making. That's the reason why they're making contracts with people in the first place, because they're stuck in this dimension and they're having they're having this dimensional experience because they're linked with someone who's a part of this.
If it was that easy for a demon to get into the real world,
that would have happened.
They would just like inhabit the body, make the contract, and then just kill the fucking person. Yeah.
So what do we think this means for Yami's katana? Do we think it's like completely corrupted now, or do you think it's like we'll go back to normal after?
He's gonna give it right back to fucking Yami, and it's gonna go right back to the sword it was before he gave it to Asta.
I agree, but your question actually that's a really crazy cool question, because
I thought you were.
What if he just made himself a new sword here and it's a katana?
That's so sick. That'd be super tight.
So then Yami and then Yami maybe goes back to his hometown and gets a new sword crafted for him and just lets
training on in Japan.
I think he's already actually gotten a new one forged. Didn't he break his sword at one point and had to get a new one forged or some shit?
I don't remember his sword ever breaking.
I can't remember. I think.
Comment section, let us know.
I'm gonna have to go back. But I don't know if it's worth it though.
So here was the question I thought you were gonna ask, and I thought we had the same question here. But here's definitely good. Like, what happens with these swords? It would be tight if Asta, can do some Bato Jutsu out of the book after this and put it back in the book. Bro, that'd be cold blooded. That'd be so sick, bro.
But, I mean, this sword's not gonna go. This sword
doesn't happen until you close the grimoire.
Yeah, but this sword isn't a part of his grimoire, so why would he be able to store it in the grimoire?
You're right.
Because the question is,
but the magic anti-magic
one. Did he just make an anti-magic sword with his anti-magic ability, and now he can store it in the book? So.
Yeah, but all the other swords come from the book originally.
Well, how did the swords come into the universe?
And how did those swords come into? Because
I think they're just spells in the book. Magic. Just the same way any other spell comes into existence.
I'm saying it'd be tight if you could make new ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and if this is how
I don't know.
Yeah.
the way Demon Destroyer was kind of given to Asta. I mean, it wasn't given, but like it was almost passed on. Like only Patrick could use this sword before, or licked, or whatever. You know, Patrick, right?
Whatever,
like,
whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's because all the swords were from the sword magic, so they were all like pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not. My memory's a little hazy on some of that.
Anyway, what was your question, Kiko?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my question. Originally, I got hyped over Bado Jutsu out the book.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, wait a minute, bro.
but did Asta? This is all just Asta, right? There was no like because it's Yami's sword that Yami could imbue it with dimensional slash power.
No,
and it's dimensional plus.
Bro,
plus
I
anti-magic.
thought like when I saw. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it a stack. I saw the spoilers for this, right? And I didn't. When I saw the spoilers, it was literally just the only pages that I saw were Yami throwing the sword to Asta, and then I don't see it being imbued with anti-magic. I don't even see it slashing, Dante. I just see Dante defeated was the next page that I saw in the spoiler. So I was like, did this motherfucker really just give a motherfucker with an anti-magic arm his dimensional sword? And did this motherfucker ask to really just dimensionally slash Dante with a dimensional sword that is being held by an anti-magic arm? No. I was like,
but I see your question.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm so glad that he grabbed the sword, and I'm so glad that I couldn't guess that he grabbed the sword and made it anti-magic, because that's so obvious. Like in hindsight, like if he throws in the sword and he grabs it, obviously he's got an anti-magic arm, so that sword is going to become an anti-magic weapon.
I just kind of hoped for more than Asta had this power the entire time with his other swords, but he didn't do it. But now that I got Yami's sword, I can do it because Yami's my guy, and it's cool. It's like. I felt why didn't he just?
I was saying he would have attacked Dante in this way if Dante let him. Dante was hitting the other weapons away.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting this attack.
Fucking Asta dashed at him first panel to go and fucking physically cut him when he could have just fucking slashed him from there.
No, the Demon Dweller, or not the Demon Dweller, the Demon Destroyer. No, not Destroyer. God damn it, the Demon
Slayer is the first one. Slayer.
The Demon Slayer is what he actually contacted. He actually made contact with it, and it couldn't cut him. A katana is known to be one of the sharpest blades there is. Yeah. And it can cut through a lot super easily.
It's anti-magic, like that should be like the sharpest thing possible against a magic.
And there's still mass you got to cut through, because it's what Nickens was talking about, where it is his actual body still.
Yeah, you're right.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Sure. I mean, he cuts his arm off with the Demon Slayer, though. So what do we?
No, he didn't cut his arm off.
He cut a body part off before he had this katana.
No,
the arm's on the ground.
He crunched his arm. He made it probably like a good ways into it and like broke his forearm, and it looks like Dante launches his arm off at him.
Because he's like, I'm losing mana here.
Yeah,
but okay,
he launches his arm off at him, because you can see in the bottom right panel of that page.
What page
you can see on his forearm on page 3.
Okay.
The bottom right panel of page 3, you can see his forearm where the sword hit. It's crunched in, but that's not where he separated it. It didn't get cut off. He separated his own arm off and like tossed it.
Yeah, it's like the bicep in the like it's like at the bicep in the bottom right page, but it's obviously the forearm in when the sword makes contact with it.
Yeah.
So when the sword makes contact with the arm, it's like right here, but when it's disconnected, it's like down here.
At the end of the day, though, it doesn't matter. I was just making the point
his
that
arm at him.
Yeah.
Kind of like Andy from Undead Unluck. Splatter the arm right at him.
Yeah.
I was just refuting the point that it's not like super outlandish that he would be able to cut Dante easier with a katana as opposed to the Demon Slayer that has actually been, there's dialogue stating that it is not like a cutting sword. It's got like blunter edges.
Yeah.
And it's wide as
so
fuck.
It's a combination
it's made for deflecting magic.
Yeah, it's a combination of Dante not expecting another anti-magic sword situation inside of Yami throwing him this sword. Like he thinks he's disarmed Asta entirely, and all of a sudden this sneak attack from this new anti-magic weapon coming from a source that he's not ready for. And on top of that, the katana is just better at cutting things. So
and it was a clean hit to the chest. Like Yami said at the beginning, if he gets a clean hit off on him, he probably will kill him. And the reason it didn't kill him at the beginning when he hit the arm was that it wasn't clean enough. It wasn't direct.
It was guarded. Yeah.
It was guarded, so he could at that time have time to detach his own arm and not die from the anti-magic attack or whatever.
But at the same time, it's like, how do they have the opening here to slash him in the chest? It's like they've been zipping around trying to go for the throat the entire time.
That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, more so than
and then
that,
now they have an opening after he takes the time to grab his sword, throw it to Asta. Asta catches it, and then just has a clear shot at the chest. Where's this defense that Dante's been having? This high tier defense he's been having this entire fight, but now
those 3 pages were like in a split second.
Yeah.
And we just got the
but they've been moving at like split second speed this entire exchange from random, directions the entire time, and his defense has been fine.
Well, Yami just blew him up. Yami just
blew him up and he's regenerating. Yeah.
And Asta took advantage of that situation.
But he's blown him up and he's been regenerating like 7 times throughout this fight. Like, why not take that same advantage?
I don't know what you want from me.
I don't know. I'm just trying to make it make sense. I'm not trying to like oppose you.
What was the thrust called again? Whatever. Because he did his death thrust and took his whole body out. That didn't happen before, so that's a fair point. Like what Nickums is saying.
No, that has happened already.
Yeah. He's
done this exact same damage to Dante like 3 times.
That was when Asta was down.
Yeah. It wasn't in where Asta had. Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing too, is that kind of dawning on me right now is that they're in the air when Yami throws the katana to Asta. So they're almost like traveling together in air, and he throws it, and then Asta catches it and follows through.
Yeah.
Because it seems like with his stance, you have to see that Asta's feet are off the ground, but it seems almost like a traditional, when they sit there, the Japanese and they just go over and over with their sword attacks like this. It almost seems like it's a ranged attack, and he's just standing still and shooting a fucking a black slash of ranged energy out, but that's not what's happening. That's
he can extend the blades now.
Yeah,
he can only extend Demon Slayer.
He can at least extend
only Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
only Demon Slayer. So whatever. I mean, hey, it's cool enough, man. It's good, man.
It's good. It's good. Fine.
But I think he might have extended this one a little bit, because to make it through Dante's big ass body.
Nah, I don't think he extended it. I think if he extended it, we would have gotten a panel of
the extension.
Extending.
Yeah.
Okay, probably.
Yeah. I think he just got a really good clean hit on him.
Yeah, direct hit.
But for this chapter, going forward, the best thing we have to take from this is that obviously Dante's out, and this leads a lot of possible things that could happen that we don't really know. Like, we don't have really I would say a very good prediction. I mean, other than really Noxus is the only one to say that he's got to go back to the Dark Triad,
defeated,
be humbled, defeated, and they get to, I mean,
scrutinize
at the end
him
of the
in
day,
whatever kind of way. They'll probably ostracize him from the whole group, like, get out of here. You're done. But see, that's the thing. How does he get there, right? So, like, what happens directly after this? Exactly. What do they do with it? What do they do with this unconscious Dante? You know what I'm saying? Do they call in motherfuckers to arrest him? Like, or do they just, like, are they going to have a conversation here? And then, because, like, you can assume that the Triad knows what's happening to the other members of their faction. And when they're not even there. So does Megikula and Xenon know that he was just defeated because of the link that they have as characters, or as their devils do, or whatever inside of the dimension? So now Megikula and Xenon are going to come here to to swoop him up. You know what I mean?
For the record, I think he's dead.
You think he's actually dead?
Why you
instead of Danica?
Why you disrespecting Vanica? Yeah,
Vanica. Sorry.
Wait, what did I say?
Keep saying Megikula like Vanica don't exist.
Oh, that's just, I don't know.
And you calling Xenon now by name.
Oh, I don't know.
We don't know his devil name.
He doesn't remember the devil name.
I don't think we knew the devil name.
We don't know. We never got
Vanica is.
We don't know Xenon.
We never got Xenon's devil name.
Oh, did we not?
No, I don't remember. And see, and I'm talking in regards to like the devil connection link, right?
Yeah,
so like,
devil connection.
like maybe them as characters have links with each other to where they can know what's going on, when with the other, no matter where they are. But like, it makes more sense that like the devils are linked because they're in the same dimension. Like, they could all just be standing right next to each other in their dimension while these bodies inhabit. That they're you know what I'm saying? So like, it would make sense if they're just chilling in their dimension, like, oh shit, fucking like Dante's devil just got.
That'd be a sick panel to see them just like looking at a crystal ball, all 3 of them, like, like bullshit right here. Fuck this Dante guy. We're gonna have to find a new guy out here or something.
Yeah.
So I just said that I think Dante's dead. I guess I should rephrase. I don't think Dante's dead. I think we are meant to think that he got a fatal blow here. I mean, the dude is on the ground with a cut through his chest. I mean, like you should be dead in this situation.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, is he dead? I guess probably not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to say. Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that's about what I had. Yeah. Well, then with that, I think we can go ahead and jump right into chapter 279 of My Hero Academia. League of Villains versus UA Students.
Yes.
And this fucking color spread.
Ooh, love
it was the best.
This was cool.
I couldn't love this shit more. This is the tightest cover like ever. One of them. Like I just love it so much.
Yes.
I love that there's so
just
much
the
like
aesthetic
teal
of everybody just
in it.
chilling, bro.
Yes.
Yeah. I love like the browns and the teals. Like it's just like a really tight
Kohei's color palette.
Aizawa with the hair tied back, chilling.
Ooh, yes.
Endeavor sipping the fucking wine like he's actually like some kind of fucking ritzy fuck, man. I hate that guy.
Right. Uraraka looking super cute.
Yeah, I mean Hagakure too. I love the fucking pearl necklace, and her. It sucks kind of that her panel has to have like people in the. I guess some panels have people in the background still too.
Yeah.
But,
Mina Ashido though.
her.
And
Mina's fucking little panel there.
Red Riot.
Kaminari. He's got a dumb face on.
No, I like
Kirishima.
I love his teeth.
Yeah, me too.
Ojiro even too, like with the fists up, like
corner.
down bottom right.
Yeah, Hawk
I love the pro heroes they chose. Like obviously you choose All Might, and obviously you choose Aizawa, and obviously you choose Endeavor. But yes, you chose Aizawa, so you gotta have exactly. Yep, that was where I was going next. You got Aizawa, so you gotta have his boy, man. You got Present Mike there.
Yeah.
You got Midnight in the bottom right. Which is pretty tight because
cute.
it's just one of the main teachers, and then Hawks. Like Hawks in the bottom left too. Like I was just like, yeah, These are the pro heroes that are like the face, kind of. I mean, I think
Leave
like
Endeavor out.
Well,
Endeavor's there.
because I touched. But that's because I touched on him before.
Yeah,
and I said obviously Endeavor is.
You got Tamaki like.
So,
these essentially are like the top like 20 or 30 of the popularity poll.
Probably.
No, I'm not saying it definitively is. I'm just saying like these are very popular characters. You know what I mean? And that's why you pick them. That's why you put them in there.
Aside from Class A, like I said, there's those 5, 6, and then Cementos too, Like there's like 5 or 6 like pro heroes that are like their main teachers, and these are their main, like people.
And
that
the ones that are the most
They're,
relevant in the arc right now.
Definitely. That too. But then you also have the big 3. You got, like you said, Tamaki and Nijude and fucking Mirio on here. Like I don't know. This is just the perfect mashup of all the heroes that we've seen thus far. And so my favorite part.
Yeah, go.
Okay. Well, my favorite part is that Denji and Midoriya are both out there getting J's because they both look like 4s. If you put like a little strap thing on the front, like man, they both got some clean. I feel like they're both going to the same Japanese stores to get their fake Jordans, but those are tight.
Midoriya's shoes always rank within the top 10 on the popularity poll.
Because he's icy.
Shoes? Wait, like shoes as
shoes.
Okay, in the hero popularity poll,
or at least in the first one in the popularity poll, I remember his shoes were in the top 10.
That's amazing. I was gonna say that these they're at a party or something, right? There's like a buffet, like behind Bakugo. There's like a buffet kind of thing.
Yeah, Endeavor's turning up on his sweet red.
Yeah,
no, he's probably drinking like Merlot or something dry.
Todoroki's got like the hors d'oeuvre, you know what I'm saying? He's eating.
I really hope that this is like the source for the animation of like say the ending theme of another season of Hero.
Oh,
it will be for sure.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That'd be cool, right?
Yeah. It's just a shoe into a perfect ending, right?
Yeah.
You got to do this, and Perfect. Wow, we talked a long time about it. This cover deserves it.
It's a great cover.
It's a great cover for sure.
Going into the chapter, man, it's super cool to see the fucking students just so organized and like on their shits. We got the croc girl here,
Lizardy
Tokage. Lizardy.
What is her ability exactly?
She can
bottom me. Okay.
Yeah. She can separate herself and control it psionically. Yeah.
And this isn't the first time we've seen her do this.
Yeah, it's not. No. We saw this in joint training too.
Okay. Yep. I just didn't remember. I was like, damn, this is a really unique ability.
But it's cool. Like why this chapter hits so hard for me is because we know that teamwork is a major aspect of the storytelling inside of this series, and like that's a major aspect of just like hero work in general, is like how you can combine your quirks with others to be the most efficient and effective. And we see these characters growing in individual ways and in teamwork ways inside of like exams and whatnot and training. But like usually like the fruits of that labor are shown in very personal ways, like historically. Like Midoriya's training will come out and we'll see the fruits of that labor, like in his fight with Gentle, or in his fight with, you know, fucking Muscular, or in his fight, well, I mean, Muscular was pretty much like 90% determination and willpower, and like there wasn't all that much training that could be like imposed there, because like he still had full cowl like control, you know what I mean, to a certain degree, but he ended up not relying on that and just blew himself up to win, you know what I mean? So like so like that's the thing. But then like but exactly, when you see like when you see Midoriya, you know, and Bakugo and Todoroki, obviously they train together inside of the Endeavor Agency. So like when they fight Ending, or when they're teaming up against Shigaraki here, you can see the fruits of their training, because it's centered around all three of them working together. Now, like the rest of the class, you know what I mean, outside of school settings and exams, we haven't seen work together to this degree, and that's one part because the scale hasn't really allowed it. The scale of conflict hasn't really allowed all of them to work together. But like also at the same time, it's cool to see that outside of a school setting, that teamwork and that training is paying off in very real ways for the world at large. You know what I mean? It's not just condensed, or it's not just focused inside of their school. Like they're progressing great. You guys did great on this exam. No, this is a large scale threat. And that training is working the fuck out for you, you know, in ways that we can see that pro heroes are trusting you. And that training that you've received, like this is why those
fledglings go.
This is why those school arcs matter so much, you know what I mean? Definitely, like, and not just for training, but like for how we understand who these characters are and why these W's are so big. Like Sugar Rush right there, like we never fucking think about Sugar Rush, but when I see him right there on the front lines fucking pulling the fucking like
Sugar Man,
you know,
his quirk is Sugar Rush.
Sugar Man, when I see Sugar Man on the front lines flexing, holding fucking, you know, trying his best to hold, you know, Giganto Machia down, I'm like, he's getting his time to shine. I never think about this character, but those little subtle character moments that we get in school and the slice of life moments really make me care that he's getting a W right now. You know what I'm saying?
Every single character in fucking Class 1A gets something, and this is you're right.
And a lot of 1B.
Like Sugar Man. Well, even in 1B too, which is crazy. Well, because it's like I haven't looked at 1B as closely, obviously, as you look at 1A, just by default. And so like, you think like which one of the Class 1A characters aren't really getting any time? Sugar Man has been probably the number one guy, I feel like, that has not gotten almost any. Like,
and Hagakure. Oh wait, no, even Hagakure got a cold-blooded ass moment inside of a refraction. Bending of the light.
Bending light. So like even Sugar Man, like this is time for him to get it, and obviously I would like to have him have more. I hate his quirk. There's no way he should be in fucking, like, how the fuck is this guy in 1A and Mudman's not? Mudman's a beast, bro.
He probably sucks like in like the aptitude,
on tests.
On tests and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because we're talking about growth with all these characters, and we get to see growth, and not just like quirk development, but we get to see Yaoyorozu, her fucking team
she's literally Captain America right now. She is literally
the
Cyclops, Captain America, fucking, you know what I'm saying?
She's doing it.
She's in the spotlight in a way that makes sense for her character. It's not just, you know, here's the item you need that's coming from creation, you know what I mean?
Exactly right.
Great point.
It's like I am dictating everything that's going on right here because I am really the smartest character in the fucking class. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And doesn't that just, like, to me, when I see all this happening, I just get the flashback of Todoroki and fucking, you know, Shoto and Yaoyorozu fighting in the, you know, the 2v1. Yeah, Aizawa, exactly. And he's like, you know who the other person who voted for you as fucking, you know, the head class rep or whatever?
Yeah.
Me. Yeah. I voted for you not because for no other reason other than, like, I respect your, you know, strategy. Like, you fit the bill of a leader. And I, even more so than me, obviously, I'm tight as fuck out here with like, quirk. But, like, you're tight as fuck right here. And that's
and your quirk is fucking busted in application.
Well, with partnered with her intellect. Like you have to be smart as fuck to use Yaoyorozu's ability. Exactly. Creation is such a cold quirk for Yaoyorozu.
It's perfect.
Yao Momo,
perfect.
I love Yao Momo for all the reasons that you should and not the reasons you should.
And that and that fucking like moment where she teamed up with Shoto in that exam against Aizawa was big for her character, no doubt. That was her biggest. That was her biggest moment. Besides now, obviously, but it seems like it was, you know, the start to something bigger for her character, and now we're seeing that callback to that exam, like, you know, like magnified to this degree now, to where this makes all the sense for her character, that she's in the position she is right now inside of this arc because of that subtle setup in that exam arc 100 chapters ago. You know what I mean? And it's
within, I mean, hey, like just like X-Men, like, and I'm not really the guy again, but like Cyclops, I've always found him underwhelming, but his leadership, and I remember playing like X-Men Legends and shit. Him and Magneto are the only two guys that you get to put a fucking skill in called leadership, which just makes everybody else better. Which makes everybody else better around you. And it's like, that's so great to have a character that's not fucking Todoroki, it's not fucking Bakugo, and it's not Midoriya running leadership role.
Wow.
Like, it's so great. So great to not have a big three main character running the leadership role and to have a woman running the leadership role. Like those, both those points are it's just, I love this. That's the biggest thing that I love about this chapter more than anything is just, and I mean, it was last chapter too, like warming up for all this, but like, Momo, take the reins.
And it's a testament
get it done.
It's a testament to like I have to take my hat off to Horikoshi for having so many moving characters and moving parts inside of the progression of his narrative, where he doesn't forget what characters need to do what ever.
That's his number one thing.
Yeah, like you have
best in the world
30 characters that are so important to the advancement of the plot, and they all do the right thing for the character that he has subtly built up inside of them throughout his entire story. You know what I mean? They never do like how do you like to keep track of all that and to know how you want to place them on the chessboard in the grand scheme of things, while you have a million things going on in between these subtle growth moments for them and the advancement of the plot. It's just like so crazy to think
he's really playing Gungi with his characters,
right?
Like,
bro. Yes, and it's like,
and he's putting them on the board exactly where they need to be.
Yes,
it's just he does that so well. Like that's his number one. That's the best thing he does, and that's I'll praise him to the end of the.
It's beyond impressive, bro. Like it's like
it is. It really
mind-blowingly like astute.
And I get mad at fucking the student festival type shit. Sometimes, and that's because I'm an impatient meathead, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I want
on the binge, it probably doesn't matter, but like on the week to week,
on the binge, exactly. Yeah,
on the week to
you're
week,
hurting. You're like 5 weeks of this, bro. I'm swinging on somebody. And no, it's too many. It's too many.
Yeah, Eagle, you were gonna say something though.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even outside the characters in the class, like you forget, like Mount Lady's getting dragged at the beginning of the chapter.
Mount Lady's a G.
He drops down into the pit. You forget all about her.
Yeah.
But like she's on his leg. She like goes down into the sand.
Yeah.
And she's crawling up him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then pops up out of the sand and gets, I don't know. Like,
and I love,
just can't, unless because I don't see her on the ground behind him at all.
Yeah, you're
so
right. And
I can only assume.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I just love the female representation that we're getting inside of the series now, because I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say it right here live on the, well, not live, but like right here on the show. I outwardly expressed my disappointment in Horikoshi's like female character writing earlier in the series. You know what I mean? Like I had issues with like outside of like school situations, there aren't any like pro female heroes in the limelight that are getting any kind of like attention. You know what I'm saying? Like,
then we see
like
Luna
Mirko,
fucking
like Mirko's like first like, introduction was like her arriving late to the conflict. Like, darn, I just missed him. You know what I mean? And I was like, and then on top of that, like Mineta of all people was the only student to solo a teacher in that joint exam where you had two students versus a teacher, like Shoto and Yaoyorozu versus Aizawa. You had Deku and Bakugo versus All Might, and then you had like Sero and Mineta versus Midnight, and Sero's taken out instantly, and then Mineta solos Midnight for like you're the only female like teacher in the exam gets soloed by Mineta. I was like, what is going on here with these female characters?
That's among the worst parts of here.
I think I think that was a more of a testament to Mineta.
No.
Because Mineta, like you were saying earlier.
No. My point isn't my
time too, since everybody else gets
My point is more so like I know, but like my point isn't more so like Mineta deserved his win. It's like choose a different way to give him his win than having him solo the only female teacher in the exam when female characters are already underrepresented in the story so far. It's not a good look. I'm happy for Mineta that he got his W in that like I'm like that's cool for his character, but it's just like have him beat someone else or just like give him a W at a different time. Like let the female characters shine in ways to where we know that female characters are just right there with the male pro heroes too, because otherwise Mount Lady has just been like kind of like borderline lecherous, like do I like these students in that way, like kind of character,
and
you know what I mean?
Fucked up
and that
too.
was weird.
That
You know what I mean? Like that's weird. And then we have fucking the Pussycat lady who was like, I'm gonna make you guys my husbands. You know what I mean? I'm gonna force you guys into marriage with me, like in the forest training arc. You know what I mean? Like that was weird as fuck. Like it's been like female character. The situation inside of Hero has been disappointing to me in ways that I've outwardly spoken about on the timeline, but now inside of this arc we're getting all of this amazing female character moments and representation in ways that doesn't feel forced, like I'm putting a female character in your film. Like it all makes so much sense that these characters are doing what they're doing. I feel like
we did get good moments with those females that you brought up though at the same time.
We did, and I was gonna say, to be fair, like he peppered him in. We got it wasn't big.
Mount Lady bodying that big giant dude, like straight up.
When she stole the limelight from Kamui Wood in the first chapter.
Yeah, I mean, okay, whatever. That's you can say whatever you want about that. But how about Uraraka like finding resolve to fight Bakugo and like floating all those taking attacks and like he peppered them in and they were there and we knew he had that.
Uraraka has good moments. Uraraka has great moments, but it's like okay, outside of a classroom setting, for the primary main female character, what good female moments do we have? And it's just like Toga. You know what I mean? Toga is like the best female character before Mirko, and and like Nejire, like or the dragon Ryukyu. They go storm the fucking like Yakuza shit, and she's fucking relegated to like handcuffing like bad guys on the outside while like everyone handles the Yakuza on the inside, and you never see her again besides the initial raid until like the very end after Shigura or after fucking like Overhaul's already defeated, and then she's just there to make sure that he doesn't get back up again. You know what I'm saying? Like
she had to fight that big dude at the beginning.
Yeah, but like it's off
because that big dude came storming out, and she was like, "I got this shit. Y'all go ahead."
Yeah, she arrested essentially a fodder character.
It's still 2 or 3 panels. Exactly right. Fodder character.
Yeah, she arrested a fodder character. Cool.
This clash is wrapped up in 2 or 3 panels. Like that's not enough time to give these, female characters, like they need the screen time to make, you got to give them more than fucking 3 panels to wrap up their conflicts. Like you got to, like,
but
it's just,
the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because now something I wasn't confident in Horikoshi's ability for is something that he's showing me he definitely does in every way have the capability to do properly, and was always planning to have this situation. Like this is not shoehorned. This isn't like forced down. Like,
it's not,
I blew it up until this point, so now here you go. Like my bad. Here's the female. Like you could tell that this was very systematically, set up this way. And I mean, week to week is just like the most frequent pace that we get this shit. So obviously I have to have my criticisms as a week to week reader, but like just seeing it from like a bird's eye point of view now, going back across it, it's like, sure, I would still, probably prefer that the dragon chick like wasn't relegated to arresting a fodder character for the entire arc, but still like I still have my criticism in those ways, but like seeing it now, right now, inside of this arc, is amazing, and it was just Toga up until like this point for the most part. You know what I mean?
Well, no matter what, when you see cool female characters like Ryukyu or whatever, that's right, Ryukyu. Yeah. The drag, you have these high hopes. You're like, man, I can't wait for her to activate, right? Like you're just like, I can't wait, and then it's like, okay, I just.
I mean, she's gonna that pantomime was perfect.
She'll do
that's
something
it. Like I got him, he's
outside.
done, and that's it. That was it. It was a little bit
still-
of
yeah,
a scuffle.
outside.
Yeah, she had a
She
job.
can't go down in tunnels and do
That's
shit.
right. That's
She's
right.
big
But
as fuck.
That's right. That's right. But I mean, it's also like, I mean, you could say she can't go down in tunnels. You need human-sized regular bodies down there. But just like, if you really wanted to represent these characters, it's like, or if you really wanted her to have a good moment, it's like, just focus on the outside a little bit longer. Give her a stronger opponent to fight outside. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to just have it be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know, like, she doesn't have to go down there and fucking like join the fray with the main characters. But like, if you're going to focus on her outside, this is our first experience with her as a character that we've been waiting to see what the fucking dragon chick is going to do inside of this story.
Exactly. That's
and,
the huge thing
and
for
you
me.
just have her arrest a fucking dude for 3 panels, and then we don't see her for the rest of the arc, and at the very end of the arc she's still there like, I'm still out here.
She's so tired.
Like that. Okay, but
you can give her more to do. You can give her more. Yeah, let's move on. Sorry,
but I'm just saying that's going to take away from other tight moments there were, and there wasn't a lot of tight dudes down there. It was like the Kirishima Rappa fight.
It depends how it's written.
And it was Mirio doing his thing.
But
and then
I mean, like,
that confronted.
I'm not saying take away from. I'm not saying take away from the story that we already have to give her more time. I'm just saying, like, you're the author. You can, if you want her to have a great moment, you'll give her one.
So think about this,
and the rest of the story will go the way that you want it to.
Yeah.
Like, it's. I'm not. Yeah. Yeah.
We're at 279, right?
Yeah.
Picture us or whatever. Okay, whatever the number. I think it was 279, right? So, okay. We just be at 278. Like, you have one chapter of her doing, and not obviously a full chapter, but you fit these times in.
Yeah, you choose.
You'd just be one less chapter farther in the story, right? Like that has nothing. Like the number that we're at has nothing to do with it whatsoever. If you want to give people a little bit more time, then
it's literally
you do,
just how
and then we're one less chapter further in the story.
Yeah,
it's not
it's just
that big
how
of a
the
deal.
author decides to paint the picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, if you want to take all the information that we have about how these arcs have gone already and decide to try to fit Ryukyu in extra moments, sure, it's going to take away from what we already know. But while he's creating that image, he can do whatever he wants, and then that becomes our understanding of the story. You know what I mean? So,
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, we can
we're done.
Go.
Yeah.
Continue on.
Let's go into the chapter.
Yeah. So, I just want to say, I already said, like, M.A.N.G.A definitely belongs in Class A. Like, what the fuck, man? He's putting in some work here.
Yes.
Mount Lady is a G. I said that already. Lizardy is Buggy, which was super cool.
And I love how, even though it's showing, I'm sorry, this is the last thing I'm going to say.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I love how it's showing the students their teamwork, their effectiveness, their efficiency, and it's positive. It's going in their favor. They're doing things they need to do. Then you also get the villains that are still competent. They're not just, oh, the students are doing things now, and now here's us getting beat up for the whole chapter. Compress blocks the fucking Denki attack that was supposed to be
looks dead to me.
Yeah, like Kaminari, like everyone's doing their thing, everything's effective. They got the drop on the villains. It's a shift in the course of battle. Like our people are doing what they're supposed to do. The teamwork is happening, and then just a slight break in their plan. I set these things down to prevent friendly fire against my teammates. I'm about to zap y'all. Nope. Boom. We're still competent villains. We're not just here to be your moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like we're still villains you should worry about. Here you go.
We're attached to these villains for one reason or another. Like Dabi, we're attached to, you know, like for the Endeavor type shit, even though we don't know that's confirmed. But like you have reasons you're like attached to these villains, which is good writing, right? Like you want to be attached
because
to villains.
we see them together interacting in ways that are family oriented. Their motivations aren't just to defeat the children of UA. They have bigger aspirations. This goes back to what we were talking about in Jujutsu Kaisen. You know what I mean? Where it's like the villain's entire goal isn't just those damn UA kids. I can't wait to you know, they're not just like one. Yeah, they're not just one hive mind of ideologies and outlooks. It's very Phantom Troop-esque in regard to like how they have differing outlooks on a similar situation that they're working towards, and their motivations are so far outside of the main cast that they just feel like people, you know, colliding with other people that have differing ideals, and the morality line is very blurred. You know, it's just all just an amazing setup to where whenever these characters interact in any kind of way, it doesn't feel shonen protagonist versus shonen antagonist tried and true 100% of the way. It feels like
there's definitely a lot more to it than that with Hero. And so let's maybe Ibarra, Vine Girl, I mean, she's doing her best, right? She tried
her dialogue was so cool too. Like, I'm sorry we're all teaming up on you. Like, this is not very honorable. Like, Sorry for the
17v1. She's like religious or something, where like her religion is not like a 1v1. I mean, I guess is approved by her religion, where like I don't know. That's cool. I mean, and I don't know if it's Christianity because you got like a vine around the head type thing. I have no idea what it is. And she's praying, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. I would rather spend time on Mineta's balls are the one that I was so confused for a while. His little grape balls, right? His little grape balls.
Just Mineta's balls.
Mineta's balls, bro. His little grapes are what attach these ropes to Gigantomachia.
I was wondering what. Oh God, that is what it is.
That's Mineta's balls, exactly.
I was like, what is? I was like, what? I was like, is it the vines? Well, and for representation again, you got Sugar Man and you got Kendo, Big Fist Kendo. She's pulling on the shit too. You can have strength, you can have female strength characters too. And then you got Hank McCoy, you know, the Beast or whatever the fuck that guy is. He's the
pulling
Sasquatch
on the shit too.
dude.
Yeah, Hank McCoy or whatever. He's Hank McCoy until I know his name because I have no idea what his name is.
I don't remember what his name is either, but yeah.
But yeah, that guy too. Like it's cool that you got two Class 1B guys, and you got Sugar Rush Sugar Man who hasn't had any time. It's like
it's cool how Kohei doesn't have to show you the face of every character involved. Like he gives you things to imply and just notice. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to like spoon feed you every single aspect of a scene. You know that's happening, or every single like thing that's happening. Like it's like if you just look at it, you'd be like, oh yeah, that is Sasquatch Buddy. We haven't seen his face on a fucking panel this whole fucking time, but we know that's him there.
Have you noticed that like
he was there at the beginning?
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, he was. But
on that, for sure. But it's not like a here he is. Like obviously, like his back is turned. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you have to.
You see him right above that too.
It's true, but you still have to look at the guy and say, hey, who is this guy? Is he in 1B? Probably, you know. But you got. I had to go look up just to confirm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just had to confirm like who he was exactly, even though like it's like I know him and I remember him for like the contest or whatever, like the 1A versus 1B contest.
The joint training.
But the joint training, that's it. So like I remembered him, but like I gotta confirm that that's actually who it is, which that's good too. That you have so many like characters that are interesting that you can still I don't know about care about, but you know you're gonna go look into them. You see them and it's like okay. All these 1B characters, like I remember them, but like I don't remember them like super vividly. So I still want to go like look it up and like look what they do because I didn't remember what his quirk was, and it's just basically Beast, right? Like he's just a beast.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
He's literally like Sasquatch from Alpha Flight,
or Sasquatch too.
Yeah. Beast and Sasquatch. Boom. There's clearly the inspiration there.
And after that, Jiro, man, with the speaker plugged in, she literally threw the box at him. I did not know that was going to happen.
Wait, what?
Jiro's ear jack is plugged into a speaker.
Okay, so that was an addition to like what her. I was like wondering like what that like I was like her earplugs look a little bit different than they usually do.
Yeah, that's some of her equipment or whatever.
Yeah, that's tech. Yeah. And she's plugging her ear jack into a speaker and shooting it at him. So that was pretty fucking sick. I love that. I mean, obviously that is the way to make a sound-based character better, but like it was cool to be. Yeah, well, what's cool about that though is it
President Mike's thing where he's got the thing on his neck.
Yeah, exactly. But the coolest thing about Jiro's speaker that she's using is that there's two prongs for both her ear jacks, yet she's only using one at the time.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to see that she would be able to, I don't know, develop that. I mean, make that, you know, there's more there that can be used with that, you know, that she could use both ear jacks and obviously not just increased amplification of the sound, which would be the obvious choice, but there's other things you can do with sound, you know, there's things that can be done with sound that aren't just it's really loud, my head hurts, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Last thing
I'm actually I was saying like I'm really curious about like once this arc is over, when we tally up the damage, like where's everyone going to stand? Because Jiro got burned, you know, when she threw up that like the ear thing, like is that going to be like a big plot point of like, oh yeah, one of my ear things is just totally fried, totally dead.
Yeah.
Or like say Kamui Wood was with
was evaporated.
Well, no. Kamui Wood's around. You know, he's with Mount
But
Lady.
he got
whatever,
completely
right?
engulfed by
You
Dabi
really
last
want
chapter.
Kamui Woods to die, bro.
I don't want Kamui. No.
Okay, stop.
I don't want him to die.
Go.
Yeah, that was last chapter.
Kamui Woods is still around this chapter on top of Mount Lady, and as Eagle said, when Gigantomachia went into the mud.
Wait, where?
Kamui on top of her head on
what page?
Yeah, he's been there the whole time. Yeah.
Page. I think I'd scroll back here a bit. Page.
She was telling him loosen his grip so she could get up.
And so he's on top of her head on page 7. But later, when Gigantomachia falls deeper into the mud, only Mount Lady comes up. Is Kamui Wood down in the mud? You know what I mean?
Bro, I do not see Kamui Wood on page 7.
She's right on the top
That's
of
the
her
one.
head.
That's the one where it says he's going
Bottom
down
right
as
panel.
planned.
No, it's page 6. It's page 6. It's page 6.
Well, it's page 7 on my app, I guess.
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Did not see that. Did not see that.
Yeah. But so it's like I'm really excited for the damage to be tallied up because I feel like a lot of people got fucked up in this arc.
Yeah. And then the last thing that I want to say about the female characters like in this arc is that you're seeing a lot of like unorthodox like representation of their resolve, right? Because like Mirko going down, losing blood, losing limbs, dying, still in your face, like high energy, like eccentric, like till the very end, like my resolve is going to bring me to like against all odds, I'm going to die trying to do what I'm trying to do the hardest. Midnight is fucked up, but still on some like I'm gonna go out swinging type shit. Mount Lady fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm going out like, you know, like these are things that like usually like female characters, even if they're strong, you know what I mean? Like you'll maybe get one character like Mirko in a shonen story. That's a female. One, you'll get one female character like Mirko in a shonen story. But we're seeing so many high resolve like female characters going down. So like it's very like all these characters are Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman will literally like take down 900 motherfuckers like dying with her dying swinging up like with her dying breath swinging her sword swinging her fist like she's taking out a bunch of motherfuckers when she goes down. Like she will literally give her all until her very last breath, and we're seeing that inside of like these female characters inside of, you know, this arc specifically in Mount Lady, Midnight, and Mirko, and it's just fucking cool to see this badass the like usually male badass or like usually see this kind of like shit from, you know, high resolve like badass like male, and not even every male character is like this, but you'll get like a Yami, you know, inside of Black Clover. You'll get like a, you know, there's other examples.
Rock
you know what I'm
Lee,
saying? You'll get like a Rock Lee, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like there's it gets to a point where you've taken so much damage, you've been beaten up so much that like psychologically you're like, I'm done, even though your body could technically do more, but you've lost the fight up here long before your body gives out. And there are some characters that are just like, fuck no, if my body's still moving, I'm still up here going strong too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Sure.
that's just the last, I just thought about that. I just wanted to throw that in there before the end of the segment, but
Cool.
Okay.
yeah.
But last thing I gotta say is my boy Aoyama jumping up with what is the dude with
the Gatling
arms?
shot, dude.
Gatling shot.
Yeah.
Ojiro.
Yeah, with Ojiro.
Fuck
No, he's
Ojiro.
on he's with
Arms
Hands, arms guy.
Not Ojiro. God damn it. What is his name? It's
I don't even know.
Shoji.
Shoji,
yeah.
that's 1000% correct.
But yeah, had the Gatling shot, bro. My man's leveling
But like
up, bro.
there's a shot coming out of a there's a shot coming out of like
knees.
out of the bottom of his elbow, like in his like tricep.
Yeah,
He has like a tricep shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just his tech
Shoulder looks
remove.
like.
Yeah, but it's like bicep, like it's like by his armpit.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah, he's got his arm up.
Yeah, it is weird. But
jumping ahead a little bit. I mean, like, what I want to talk about is like Gigantomachia's quirks.
Yeah.
Dude,
yes,
that's what I'm
definitely.
saying. I don't know. I'm wondering, I was going to ask you guys, there has to be a reason why All for One like wanted to create Nomus, right? I was thinking like, how can we really nail down what kind of fucking quirk this dude has? Because he has like rock fucking body parts. He's like giant, super strong, super fast, super quirks. Fucking big. Like that's what I'm saying. Is he the original perfect Nomu that made All for One want to go on this Nomu endeavor and create more? Because he was like, yo,
I need to make more of these Giganto Machias.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting point because he's not like black like a Nomu is.
Yeah.
But whether it was the perfect comment, because it kills their brain and like makes them like it makes them brain dead and makes them, you know, just mindless zombies or whatever. You order them around and they do shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether it was like the perfect combination of quirks but he has a mind and kind of a will of his own at times though.
Yeah.
But so do Nomu.
Yeah, so do the
a lot of the Nomu have wills and
all the
elite
ones do.
Yeah, all the top tier ones do. That's right.
Yeah, the real high ends.
Yeah, so, the high ends.
What if he's
or the
like
pseudo high ends? Yeah.
Whether it was like the perfect combination of quirks that didn't make him go as crazy or dumb as the other ones, or if he was just like so resilient that it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
What if he is the original like perfect Nomu that sparked all this Nomu shit off?
Yeah, because he's Crimson Riot.
Get out of here. That would be so fucking crazy. What?
That'd be nuts. He did. The hair does look similar now that you're saying that. Like if you look at this page, the double page spread on 14 and 15, I'm pretty sure the Riot dude, we did get him with hair like that when Kirishima had the flashback of him.
Man, that's a lot, man. I don't want to do that. I don't think I want to do that, but like, you know,
watch, bro.
I can't. It's hard to refute with the haircut almost. You know,
well,
like the haircut.
It would be really reminiscent of. I was going to say it'd be really reminiscent of One Punch Man, where you take a prominent figure and like kind of convert them to the other side in a way. Goketsu.
Yeah.
You know, the demon who was the martial artist. He won the tournament. Sure. And then he went and fought Orochi, got sunned, and was like, yo, make me into a monster.
Well, we've seen this already inside of Kurogiri.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kurogiri was Aizawa and President Mike's boy turned into a Nomu. That's a huge character moment realizing that.
I'm talking about
Shirakumo. And so like why wouldn't with Shirakumo, why wouldn't we see more Nomufication reveals that significantly impact our main cast?
Mm-hmm.
Like fucking there was a fucking Nomu that looked just like Best Jeanist.
Yeah. I mean,
in the Mirko chapters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was very similar, Kind of had like a
had the whoop with the whooshy whoosh haircut, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You never know, dude.
So on that double page, Giganto Machia blows them away. Just blowing.
Yeah.
I love that because this dude is huge and he would be able to blow you away in that way really easily. I love that touch.
Yeah, especially
and
kids.
And it stinks.
Yeah, and it stinks. Yeah. Man, that breath has got to be drastic.
Yeah. Oh, that's the hottest breath out, bro. Yeah, no. And then big ass canine teeth sticking out. You need to brush those, boys. But but anyway,
never brushed his teeth since he became this way.
That's his real quirk. You don't need to brush his teeth. But no. So he has multiple quirks, right? So,
I mean, you got.
What if? No, I mean, it's said that he has morale converted into physical energy as one of his quirks, and that he's numb to pain as one of his quirks. Yep. And so he can have how many more quirks? And what if he had a drug immunity to sedatives, and we're about to throw these sedatives in his mouth, and he's just going to be immune to them?
Oh, man.
Very well could be.
That would be so huge, and that would be so good, too. Like an utter defeat of everybody at maximum effort. And maximum potential. This is the best we could do, and it wasn't enough. Everyone's leveling up after something like this, dude. Like,
definitely.
Wow, in a major way. Wow. And then last page, Mina Ashido in the Jelly Man, Acid Man form. Let's see what she's about to do, baby.
Super tight use of her ability. I love this panel.
Yes.
Well, and she said she said it was influenced by Kirishima's Red Riot form or whatever his Unbreakable. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love their plot line together.
Makes sense that acidic matter could shield you from fire, right? acidity is very fucking hot, right? Or I don't know if you call it hot corrosive. I don't know what
that
I don't
is
know
just
what you really.
It's just like water.
Too,
Yeah, I don't know. It's liquid.
Yeah.
You're
I don't know.
Very common thing in anime. There's a burning building. Someone's like, I got to go in there. You pour a bucket of water on you.
yourself. Yeah,
you go in. It helps. It helps a little bit. Yes. Eventually, she would boil.
Yeah.
But for a short amount of time,
running through a wall of fire, this is probably very.
It will
effective.
just absorb the heat and not really do anything.
Yeah.
It's a very cool use of her ability.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
That's
And
all I got.
yeah, so I mean, fuck. If he just bodies the sedative and
Whoa!
doesn't pass out,
Yeah.
that's
No!
crazy.
It's gonna be tough.
He's just like,
we didn't
Yeah.
we didn't
Like,
really
oh.
talk about it. We gotta say something about Mount Lady trying to pry his mouth open.
Yeah.
Like, I know my kids was about to throw something in here, so we're gonna get this
Yeah.
mouth open.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's super cool. Like,
Yes.
and then she just trusts in their plans and that she's going to, like, you know, hey, I don't know what these kids were exactly planning, but I know they were trying to do this, and I'm gonna help them do it because I trust our teaching. I trust our kids' growth. I trust, you know, like the whole process. I trust in the process. You know, and
trust the process.
That's
fuck yeah.
That's huge. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think that's about it though.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, then with that, I think we can go ahead and jump right into chapter 986 of One Piece. My name. And like Oda, can we like I know I've said this, I swear 5, 6, 7,
I think
8
we're
weeks in a
done.
row, but like the cover story, get us out.
I think this is the last for
Get
real and for
us
true. I
out.
think this is the last one.
They bounced on Pound. That's hilarious, though. I did laugh.
Yeah, that's
about
fucked
it.
up.
I'm like,
That's fucked up.
I'm like, why y'all look just like him? What are y'all talking about?
Yeah, because the last one is like, "You're my dad," and then this one is like, they're leaving.
They're like, no, you're not my
Bouncing on,
dad.
buddy.
Nah.
You're not my dad.
In this vein, I hate talking about this cover story, but I will say that it's hilarious that their boat sail says "I love family," but they're leaving behind the dad. That's pretty great.
Right. And going into the chapter, man, like the beginning of this chapter was tight with the double page spread, but like the paneling was extremely weird and like kind of off-putting because we just go right into the chapter.
Yeah.
Last chapter we had the confrontation with Okiku and Kanjuro.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, like right at the beginning of the chapter, Buddy's just bloodied.
Yeah,
he's
he
on
got
the
off
ground
screen.
dead.
He
He's
got
out
off
of there.
screen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's out
of there.
of
Off
because it was
And
a
you would think
samurai
an emotional conflict like that, though,
yeah.
between people who had spent their entire lives together, and he was really in like a deep cover operation.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Right.
That's some emotional shit. You'd think that could be on panel.
Probably because it's not
Because
over.
flashbacks
Probably because it's not
Now
over
they're
for
having
him.
this. Now they're
No, he's out. He's dead. He's
Yeah.
definitely dead. The thing that's happening here is that Oda is putting this story into overdrive, like pedal to the metal. Like things are going really quick. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I would have said like you know, when Orochi got his head cut off, I'd be like, oh yeah, Orochi's maybe still alive because of the Hydra, or, you know the Orochi no whatever. You know they had it had determined. I think he's dead.
Yeah, I'm telling
Kanjuro's
You
dead.
really think he's dead?
I think he's dead. Kanjuro's dead. Like we are fast forwarding into. Let's get to the fucking fight, because several people in this chapter have said Kaido has always been the main enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
that
Nick
doesn't
a
mean
lot
that
there,
doesn't mean Orochi
even though
has
No,
to
he's
be
dead.
dead.
No,
No,
that's
he's dead.
true.
All right, bro.
I would just.
Let's see.
I would just like to
Well,
see the
anything
anime
can
kind
be
of do a little
a
more with this
clone, couldn't they?
Kanjuro fight than the manga has right now.
Well, sure.
That's all
If we're not going to
would
get
say.
any kind of, if we're not going to get any kind of like, I don't know, just insight onto what exactly happened here, then sure, you want the anime to do a little something, just a little something,
Yeah.
whatever. But I mean, anything could be an ink clone at the end of the day.
Yes,
Like,
they definitely could be. Yes.
Orochi or Kanjuro, either one of them could be an ink clone, and
Yeah.
they could both still be alive.
I do remember
don't
back
think
to
so.
Dofi getting his head cut off, and it was a
Yes.
string clone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I
It's
don't
possible.
want One Piece to fall into like, you know, old school like John Byrne like Fantastic Four stories. Like everything's a Doom bot. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
right.
like everything is like you thought you got Doctor Doom, but you know, and the story could conclude, and then you think that Doctor Doom is out of here, and then 3 years later, a fucking like, you know, a writer will pick up Fantastic Four comics, and the return of Doctor Doom, you know, comes. Where he's like, no, he definitely got beat in that issue like 3 years ago, and it's like exposition gives you it was a Doom bot. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
I don't want it to fall into like a situation like that, but like at the same time, it's like I just don't think like I feel like I'm really confident that Orochi's not out of here, and neither is Kanjuro. It definitely could be a pedal to the metal kind of situation where the story's going to continue.
He put the hat over Buddy's head, man.
Yeah. Or wait, who put the hat over Buddy's head?
Kinemon.
Kinemon.
He put his hat on Kanjuro's head. He covered his head with his face.
And people are crying. And if the Devil Fruit user got knocked out or died, the images would fade away. Work, yes. The ability would cancel. Kanjuro is dead.
Well,
I don't think he's dead.
I mean, if this is an ink clone, no, that doesn't.
Exactly right.
If it's an ink clone, it would disintegrate.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't, because he's not the one who's actually dead. He's sitting in a shadow.
Would an ink clone bleed? Would an ink clone fall?
I mean,
because ink could be blood.
Black,
you could just turn the color of ink, but you could just turn the color of ink red. That's what ink is, right? You could just have red ink or whatever. Yeah. Like that's fine. That's his ability.
Not definitively, but I'm very confident.
I can just see a bloodied, fucked up, huffing, like on his last legs Kanjuro coming in to do some fuck shit like 10 chapters from now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I could very easily see like a, you bastard scabbards, I'm not done yet, and then really getting dealt with, on screen in a satisfying way for the scabbards later. As far as Orochi goes, Kiko, you weren't here last coverage, but we were talking about how Orochi, obviously, there's a very big consensus out there that his Hydra heads are the reason why he's not out of here in this beheading scene. But we were talking about how cool it would fucking be. Me and Nick had like 2 really cool ideas. What did you say, Nick? You said,
I don't remember.
Oh, fuck. I can't remember what you said either, but I remember being like, because I remember like we both like got the idea at the same time, and I was like, did we just think of the same thing? And then like you said something different from me. But what I said, oh no, I remember what you said. You were like, he's got 8 heads.
Right.
The scabbards are 9 characters minus Kanjuro, and they all take out a head. Themselves. You know what I mean? Like the remaining 8 scabbards take out a head. But then I said that like he lost this head, so like maybe he has like a multiple personality situation to where
sure.
Like every time a head is decapitated, he goes from like less of a mousy, shitty, like underhanded like schemer weasel to a more confident final boss, like final head, character, you know what I mean? To where we see him like.
Problem with all this is Orochi's not a Hydra. He's a Yamata, not Orochi.
Right? Yeah.
Which is an 8-headed serpent. It's different from a Hydra.
I know it's different
Hydra's
from a Hydra.
9-headed.
Yeah, Hydra's
it's
just
very similar.
Hydra's just the word that's
got multiple heads.
Sure. But those are 2 very different mythical beasts.
Right.
Different abilities.
Right.
Different abilities. Where a Hydra, you can cut off their heads and they still exist. Yeah, exactly. They grow back. Where I don't think that's the case for
to grow back in everyone's place.
Yeah, they don't have to. Yeah, but I mean, like that. But how does that difference mean that like our ideas like aren't possible though? Because you said the problem
I won't
is
say that it's
just an assumption. Like, can you easily assume that?
So then I would.
I'm not saying that the heads are going to grow back. I'm saying he's just got more heads to deal with. Yeah.
Well, he's saying that after Hall cut off one to kill him, like cut off all of them at the same time, like.
Yeah, I'm not saying that
if Susanoo had to do that in the actual lore, but we're not going to go that deep.
Orochi's head was cut off as just him, right?
That's right. That's right.
There's that too.
That's right.
But let's
get getting back into the chapter.
So
why is this the first time we've gotten a name box for this fucking Mimo Origumi dude?
It's not. Oh wait, for Hote specifically. Yeah.
For Hote, I feel like we did.
No, we got the Mimo Origumi.
Yes,
it's just for our benefit. That's why
not
it's
for
our
Hote
benefit
specifically.
to remind you who this person is.
Yeah.
Well, and so
we've never gotten a name for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't really need it, And we need a leader now of the samurai since it's a 5,000 strong fleet that somebody's commanding. So we need somebody.
There's no more
there,
like daimyo or whatever or.
Yeah.
Shogun.
Yeah, and I mean, I just gotta say, like with that whole thing, like Kaido saying, "Hey, you can join me or you can fight me, whatever you want." But just Kaido is like so noble, man. I just can't help but like Kaido and the fact that, hey, if you guys do want to fight me, like I respect the fuck out of you for it. I'm about to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
But I still respect your warrior spirit. And the same thing with Momonosuke. Like I'm gonna give you a second chance to tell me what your name is. And if you tell me a different name, I'm gonna offer a full apology to you and just let you do your thing. Like he's so like reasonable. Like I don't even.
More reasonable than you think.
Time, like, yeah,
I wouldn't say he's
noble.
noble.
If that's reasonable.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely
he's exerting his sheer power.
He knows that's Momonosuke. He just wants him to be a bitch and say, "I'm not Momonosuke. Save my life."
I really don't think that. I think he
no, he knows it's him because he literally held him 20 years ago.
Yeah,
I know that.
He knows
it's the same. I'm not saying that.
And as the crowd realized, they're like, oh, he's letting him shit on Odin by saying I'm not his son.
Sure.
And he would love to see that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So he is giving him an out, but like I wouldn't call him like
Kaido.
No.
Kaido respects Odin. I would say
Kaido is afraid of Odin.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
That's what it is.
Kaido respects Odin too, though, and did not feel right the way Odin was killed and wanted to actually fight him 1v1 and prove that he was a better man. And that's what I mean by noble. Like he actually is going the right way, and I don't think he wants to see Momonosuke shit on Odin's name as like some kind of like personal.
I think he does.
I don't. I really don't. I feel like he is just saying you're not a threat to me whatsoever. What good does this really do other than killing a name by killing this little ass kid? And I'm gonna let him go because I'm way too fucking strong to care about something. Fucking tiny ass little kid.
Here's why. To fast forward a little bit to the basically the end of the chapter when the scabbards are coming at Kaido.
Yes.
Kaido is looking at them and says, "Your swords can do nothing to me." And he has a flashback to Odin, and he says, Odin, he audibly says, "Your swords can't hurt me, Odin." And he is obsessed with Odin. He is either afraid of him, or he is like obsessed
Odin
with him.
is probably,
and that's why I think he does want
Odin is probably,
Odin.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to say this real quick. Odin is probably the catalyst to Kaido's depression and wanting to kill himself.
I love that. I love that.
Because that moment where is the first time where all of that strength that he's compiled and all of that status that he's acquired, where he felt like he was actually physically bested for the first time in a 1v1 situation that didn't get fleshed out in an honorable way, because Orochi fucking did some underhanded shit and faked the Momonosuke hostage. Like he probably thinks back to that, like, not only was Odin better than me, but I didn't win honorably. That probably is why he's like, I fucking hate I hate myself.
Not what you're saying. That's not shallow. But the thing, shit on Odin's name in front of me. That's gonna like really appease my ego at this time. That's so shallow, and like you guys are just not giving Kaido enough credit to me personally.
I don't think it's not giving Kaido, and I don't think it's not giving Kaido enough credit. One, he still has to be the villain that you hate.
What do you think he's doing?
One, he has to be the villain that you want to hate and want to defeat. Also,
no, he doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, like he's being taken down. I mean, we have to know that. He's a villain.
Just because he's being taken down doesn't mean we have to hate him.
I mean, not necessarily hate him, but like he still has to maintain villainous qualities. You know what I mean? So like, so him doing something like that, one is an attest to him being a villain that needs to be taken down, but also like that depression and that mind state, that psychological situation can lead you to do a litany of irrational things and act outside of character.
That just makes me feel like Kaido is so emotionally weak that he should never be in this position to begin with. Like, it's just so shallow and soft to me to think that, I'm gonna make your little fucking 8-year-old kid say he's not your kid, and that's gonna make me feel better. That's so shallow and weak. That's about the weakest thing. That's so weak.
I want to point out.
So weak.
Yeah, go ahead, Eagle. I see what you're talking about.
I agree with what Nickam said. I think Kaido has tremendous respect and fear for Odin, because
both of those definitely
on this top panel of the double page spread in the last page, he says your swords can do nothing to me, like Nick pointed out. Has the flashback to Odin. He looks clean in that top panel. Right after the flashback to Odin, darker shading on his face, and he's sweating. And he's sweating with the oh shit eyes, the oh shit One Piece eyes. So he fears Odin, and what he wants Momonosuke to do. He has tremendous respect for Odin, the man he was, and how strong he was, and he has no respect for Momonosuke because he has none of that. So what he wants him to do, he's telling him, he's like, "Yo, your dad was that dude. You're a bitch.
Admit you're a bitch.
Right.
Admit you're a bitch.
Like, admit you're a bitch and renounce your name right now.
Yeah, because you're not the man that I fear and respect.
Yeah. I like that.
Wow, I do like
that.
that.
And that feels good. I'm not saying like that doesn't feel like that can't be the thing, but like it just.
And I agree with what Noxie's saying kind of too, that like maybe that could be a source of mental anguish for him. That like Odin, the type of character Kaido is, he's looking for an honorable defeat or death, as far as we know. Odin was about to give that shit to him, and the old lady hoed Odin. Yeah, and he won like a, and Kaido won like a bitch.
There's no amount of embarrassing
and he executed that old lady because she did that. He told Odin that. He said, I executed that old lady. There's no amount of
embarrassing a 10-year-old boy that's going to bring you back the pride that was robbed from you. Yeah. And you look soft and weak, and you don't look like you should have ever been in this position to be.
But Kaido doesn't have to be an entirely rationally thinking
it's not about
character.
That for him. It's about Momonosuke renouncing his father's name.
Just because Kaido... Yeah, we have our but see, that's the thing about One Piece is that like One Piece will introduce characters in a certain way and make us think certain things about them, and then reveal more of their personality that contradicts and subverts those expectations that we have of these characters. You know what I mean? Like we were never expecting a lot of things that we found out about certain characters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Senior Pink's backstory. Come on, bro. That's great. Like Oda does that shit all the time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is who you thought this character was. Well, this is who this character actually is. And
so Senior Pink's a great example because why can't Kaido feel the same way? Like as Senior Pink does. Senior Pink is acting basically admirably, even though he's doing shitty shit to do it. And Kaido can still act with a warrior spirit here and be like, you know what? What is killing a little 10-year-old boy that only is a figurehead is nothing. This is literally nothing to me and is basically below me. So I'm going to give him his pass, his chance to get the fuck out of here and just live his life because I'm a bigger man than that. And I just don't feel like people. I just don't feel like people who control the whole fucking world are literally in a drunken fucking depressed stupor and sit here every day and say, oh my God, Odin's death was robbed from me. I'm going to embarrass this 10-year-old kid and that's going to make me feel better.
So it's so soft, bro. It's so soft. I think we can synthesize all these points into a single thing that yes, it's not like Kaido is like trying to humiliate a 10-year-old boy. You know what I mean? Like
to make himself feel better.
It's bigger than that.
But if Momonosuke did that, he would be shitting on Odin's name, and so he doesn't do that. He does say, "I'm Odin's son," and he has the badass moment, an incredible moment in this chapter.
I don't think it takes anything away from Momo's moment, just to say that.
It doesn't.
If my standpoint on Kaido is correct, then it doesn't take anything away from Momo's moment.
100%. Yeah, you're right.
Completely. Good. And Kaido, Kaido knows it's Momonosuke. He knows who this is. Yeah. But as you say, he's just giving him an out.
He just wants him to renounce his father's name.
It's for two reasons. It's for two reasons. There's only two possible reasons: to appease his ego, which is soft, or to give a 10-year-old boy the way out that he doesn't like. There's no reason to kill him because he poses no threat to him.
All I'm saying is that.
What's the third option?
Both together.
He just wants him to renounce the name of his father, who he knew was a dope ass motherfucker.
Yeah. And Eagle already said that. He said, "Look, man,
if that's the case,
I did fear and respect your dad. I don't see any of Odin inside of you,
and that's fine.
So."
You don't be a part of this bloodline, so renounce it right now.
Exactly.
It's not about trying to humiliate him or appease his
own
ego.
It's still more respect for Odin.
You don't deserve your father's name, so renounce it right now and I'll let you live. Otherwise, I'm about to kill you.
Yeah.
That's it.
If anything, I think it's all three.
But why?
It could be all three.
But why?
Because he has tremendous
He's obsessed with Odin. He's obsessed with Odin.
And he doesn't want his
it's to ego. So it's to appease
his ego. He doesn't want
his
name to live on.
Just because it's an ego thing doesn't automatically, like, I understand why you think it's soft, but at the same time, it's like...
He is soft.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like Odin, or Kaido doesn't have
It's out of respect for trying to preserve Odin's legend.
Yeah, like
he has tremendous respect for him.
You can be
he
soft
want his name to live on through Momonosuke.
You can be soft in one way and hard body everywhere else.
Yes,
and that softness in that area does not take away from how hard body you are in every other way. Entirely.
Okay, what Eagle just said, I think, is the best point.
What is it?
By having Momo's image, by Momo tarnishing Odin's image, it makes Odin look weaker, and what Kaido did to best him, it even lowers his feat, or it lowers his honor in the fact that if you carry on Odin's name and you're this weak little blabbering baby and I kill you, you make my feat of beating Odin look worse than it already does because I just, swindled him by my own way. Like I indirectly got swindled Odin and I didn't beat him in a fucking 1-to-1. So this furnishes well, that's what I took from it, and I like that one way more better than anybody else's.
What I said is that the respect he has for Odin is tremendous, and how he views Momonosuke is completely opposite to that. So he respects Odin's legend and the man he was, and to have the man he views Momonosuke as carry on that name
doesn't feel right.
Would not do
Kaido.
service to Odin. So he's like, no, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Yeah, I like
how I interpret it anyway. That's okay. Yeah,
but you're not taking into really Kaido's complex, his Odin complex, when you say that. You're just saying I want Odin to look better because of I respect him, but it's like it's so much more than respect. Like he has a he has like an Odin complex. Like he thinks about it every day, right? And that's why to me, if you make his son denounce his name, that's to appease your ego. Yeah. Where it's not a thing that is preserving your own legacy of I beat Odin, which was basically the number 3 on Roger's ship, or number 2 on Whitebeard's ship, or what? I mean, whatever numbers you want to place him. He was looked at as Odin and Roger's brother, not their son. We're like, Whitebeard and Roger's. They looked at him as an equal, and not like how Whitebeard has sons, right? So that by tarnishing Odin's legacy tarnishes Kaido's deed of overthrowing him. That I felt like made more sense to me than he just respects Odin so much that he wants to just hold his name high. He doesn't want to. I mean, 20 years later, like nobody gives a fuck about Odin's name.
He does.
He does though.
The source of
that can carry.
He does personally.
The source of the anguish is that he knows he did not beat him. He knows he got beat and won dishonor.
And now Momonosuke is a representation
a very
of the
honorable and great man.
And Momonosuke is a continuation of the representation of that legacy that he couldn't rise above. And Momonosuke
I'm just saying it can't be both of what you're saying and what Eagle's saying. Basically, he's trying to prop Odin or make sure Odin's legacy stays strong because he respects Odin. And you're saying that he needs to take Odin's legacy down to make himself feel better for the situation that happened. It can't be both.
No, it's not. Noxie's not saying he's trying to take the legacy down. He's saying he's trying to make. All right, it doesn't matter. You're just refusing to understand what we're trying to say.
I'm not refusing to understand.
Hit us in the comments.
Said multiple times he's trying to make him denounce the name to not tarnish the legacy.
Yes, because
the man that he views Momonosuke as,
you have different because
he lived on.
Yeah, but see, but that's the thing is that you're saying that both of our becauses aren't possible.
No, I'm not. I'm saying for both of them to. No. I'm saying it has to be one or the other. It can't be both. You have two different becauses, and it has to be one or the other. And you guys are kind of like mixing your ideas together. That because of him, because Odin's legacy stands to be tarnished here, that it's either to preserve his legacy
in Kaido's mind.
And that's what Eagle's saying.
Yep.
And what Noxie and Nickums are saying is to best Odin and to feel better about himself by winning and making sure even his son has denounced his name to win some kind of psychological egotistical battle
Kaido's mind
against his 10-year-old son.
Those are so similar. I can't even think about.
I don't think anybody.
I don't think.
And I don't think anybody said that. And I only remember you saying anything about ego at all.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
here's the thing. We
ego.
have properly expressed all of our feelings on the situation.
Let's move on.
Hit us in the comments and let us know which one you agree with, which one you disagree with. Let us know what makes the most sense. But I think that is a proper conversation for it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Moving into things that I wanted to bring up in this chapter. Outside of the Momonosuke situation.
Nice way to put that.
Yeah, okay, so...
Bringing up things I want to talk about next.
Moving on to things that actually matter. No, I'm kidding. So... No, for real and for true. So, so when Luffy rips the shackles off of Yamato, there was a big plot point about how, are these shackles actually explosive? Would Kaido actually do that to Yamato? Yamato's I'm very scared about this explosive situation. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think my dad would do that. You know what I'm saying? And then Luffy rips off the fucking things just to be safe. Let's throw them as far away as we possibly can. He throws them away and they explode anyway. And Yamato is like, he really was gonna fucking kill me. Now, this motherfucker's not my dad at all anymore. Fuck that motherfucker. It's over with now. I am free from the, you know, it's like when you, let's see. You know, like when you're a kid, you think your parents are gods. You know what I'm saying? You think they can do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? And then you reach like 13, 14, and you start noticing like, okay, these people are flawed. You know what I mean? And Yamato, obviously under the yoke of Kaido's oppression, even though he has a very strong resolve in like his ideals and wanting to be Odin and whatnot, like there were so many moments where he could have been like, Kaido's not my father. Like when he beat me every day, when he put these shackles on me in the first place, yada, yada, etc. But it wasn't until he saw that Kaido was actually going to destroy him if he did try to take the shackles off that he decided, I am now denouncing you as my father. It's like that psychological grip that Kaido had on Yamato until this point when he's very much an adult and seeing this situation as the last straw is just a testament to how devious of a character Kaido really is inside of this parenthood for Yamato, you know, or inside of his fatherhood or whatever for Yamato, which is just further reason that we need to get this motherfucker out of here, no matter how honorable or noble he seems or how cool and reasonable he seems. He's a piece of shit through and through that needs to be defeated in a very brutal and satisfying way. So that's the point I wanted to bring up there.
Well, brutal.
Yeah, get him out of here. Fuck that. Stab him 15 times. Get him out of here the same way that fucking like Whitebeard got taken out, but like not in a Whitebeard way. You know what I'm saying? Like do all the damage, make him feel all the pain, make him hate himself until his last fucking breath, dude. Like fuck, dude, kill me already type shit. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you're bringing up throwing the exploding. I mean, collar is what I think of because I mean that was what it was.
Rayleigh.
And Rayleigh, exactly. That was what I was asking. It's exactly the same thing Rayleigh did. Even though Rayleigh's is off screen, you just see him like kind of, you know, after him is throwing Kamey's fucking collar away. But it exploded too. He threw it and it exploded too. So this is, and it's good because like I always like try to like struggle like to comprehend in my mind like how did hockey give him the ability to do that? He crushed it, broke it, threw it light speed away or whatever, you know, fast enough away that it beat the explosion, which is crazy if you think about grabbing something that's supposed to explode instantly and you somehow broke it off and threw it before it exploded. That's a pretty huge feat. So
I'm
glad
big.
You brought
That's
that up
massive.
Because I think that's exactly the same thing Rayleigh did to Kamey.
This is the true hockey. This is the true armament hockey that Rayleigh has used, and now Luffy can use it too.
And he kind of like warms up for a second too to like prepare himself
like,
and like, all right, I still don't have an entire mastery of this because it's not like a Rayleigh like after image, beep, 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 and then it's like over. Like Luffy still has to like ready himself to be able to do it. So
But he's growing. He's growing.
Still some growth there. Yeah, absolutely.
So
I have.
How about
go for it.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, how about our MC? You know, the greatest MC of all time, Luffy out here. You know, just being the good boy he is, you know, caring about people's representation here and calling Yama-O instead of Yamato. Because Yama-O is man, right? Like just like he calls Taro, you know, like law guy or lawman or Giza-O. Like,
Tra-O.
Tra-O or Giza-O, like for kids. Like that's how he calls people is just like hyphens their name and adds O for man at the end of it. But that's exactly what he did for Yamato.
Damn, I did not notice that.
I didn't notice that either.
And it's Yama-O, and you know he's like, no, it's Yamato. But I mean, hey, we got best MC of all time right here. You know, he cares about everybody, he cares about their feelings, and that's always the hugest, the best part about it.
Absolutely.
Really,
and we're seeing growth in his character for the argument that we've been seeing on the timeline as far as like Luffy doesn't develop. Luffy is still the same reckless idiot that he was in chapter 1 or whatever the fuck people try to fucking say. When the explosion happens and they reach the same area as everything else, Luffy could have just been like, Kaido, you know what I mean? But he was like, wait a minute, we're not the ones that are starting this battle. The scabbards have a fucking debt to be repaid.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine at the beginning of One Piece and seeing Luffy like? You can imagine Ennie's lobby. You know what I mean? Like Luffy's like, "Where's the strongest guy? I'm gonna run over there and beat the shit out of him." Right? That was like his main character trait for a good chunk of the series. And now he's like, "Hold up!
We're not the ones who start this off.
We're not going to start
Let's
the fight.
see what the scabbards do, because this is the scabbard situation here.
Yeah.
Loved that.
Yeah.
Well,
Blatant representation of his
you
growth.
get the panel.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a different scenario, but it still feels a lot to me like Jaya, where he's like, we don't need to fight these guys. Basically, like it's even though it's a different type of situation, it has the same energy to me, where it's like battles that need to be fought, we'll fight, but like we don't need to fight battles that don't. And this is a battle we need to fight, but this is my battle second. Like these guys have priority here, and I want them to make their move and do their thing, and I'm going to support them, even though I'm clearly the guy out here. Like I can just run this shit, but we're going to let them get their, closure, whatever, like let them feel, let them fight their fight, at least for some portion of this. Yes. Right. Beautiful.
Man, and this was so fucking satisfying to see them all jump this motherfucker.
All
now
rushing
Izo shoots shoots the sword out of fucking King's hand, which is crazy. But then when we get this double spread here of them attacking Kaido,
he's still shooting at him. He's still dumping on him.
Yeah, like he's still dumping on him, and Kawamatsu is attacking King, not Kaido.
Sure.
Yeah. That's true.
Izo's so
I looked
tight.
at that too. Well, and I looked at that too, and I kind of, at first I was like, man, is he really attacking King? But like the way that the like sword / shockwaves are going, he's definitely attacking King. But at first I was kind of on the fence about it. Yeah. But yeah, that's, I don't know.
They don't just have blinders on for Kaido. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're still very much like they're still wildly capable samurai in every regard of battle and combat. They have awareness, they have battlefield awareness, they have they have their wits about them. It's not just Kaido, everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's like he has subordinates around here that are aimed at us too. We need to make sure that this is a safe maneuver. Yeah.
Especially Izo and Kawamatsu. Yeah. Because Kawamatsu has been his whole life a defensive type character defending Hiyori, right?
Yes.
And so he obviously is not like blinded by rage against Kaido. He's looking out for his family, his friends, the squad. And Izo, being one of Whitebeard's division captains, Izo has been through a ton of shit through his life, you know what I mean? So he knows, like, oh, you can't just focus.
You can't just fucking focus Kaido when you got all of his people around him.
Billion belly people around here. I'm gonna focus on this guy over here for a little bit.
Yeah, you got some front line to get through before we focus on back line.
And you even have Inu Arashi with a shockwave for his sword aimed away from Kaido too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That could
we don't
be
know what that is, but
Queen, maybe?
Queen, or Jack. Queen, I mean, they do got beef with Jack. So I mean, it could be towards Jack too.
But you have all of the first retainers,
and you got Neko getting grabbed by Kaido. Like,
that's so tight. Yeah. Face grabbed. Yeah.
I'm surprised that they knocked out Kaido's club. They knocked out Kaido's club out of his hand. I'm very surprised by that.
And that's a big moment for Neko, bro. Neko's sick. Wow, with the gun arm too, probably.
And I just gotta say, from Twitter, our guy, King, he colors the shit.
King the Wildfire. That's the guy, bro.
Yeah, he's super tight, dude.
Yes.
But he fucking posted the thing like, all right, Izo greater than King now because he shoots the gun out. Is Nekomamushi greater than Kaido because he knocked the fucking little club out of his hand? Y'all gotta calm down, because all you saw was a bunch of these posts like Izo greater than King, and it's like calm down, calm down.
And people are,
but that was perfect for him to say being
absolutely,
King.
Absolutely, and yes, for sure. And he's always been very reasonable. He's a very he's definitely not fueled by agenda like a lot of like Twitter accounts are, which is why I fuck with King the Wildfire is so heavy. Yeah. But like also like on JD Legends 5K stream today, people were talking about how Izo's feat in shooting the sword out of King's hand invalidates the argument that King could potentially be stronger than Katakuri, because obviously like his observation hockey isn't as good as Katakuri. And it's like I'm sitting here going like, what, you give him fucking future sight too? So we just literally have like a rinse repeat of fucking, we just have Zoan, have Zoan version of fucking Katakuri. Like no, like not everyone's going to have future sight. Exactly. So it's like he's going to be able to be taken surprise in those ways, but he's going to have strengths in other areas that Katakuri doesn't, because he's a different character with a different skill set. Get the fuck over yourselves and stop fucking doing one-to-one fucking compations of characters.
Fujitora doesn't have future sight.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, wait. What's
he might though. He might have future sight. How do you know he doesn't have future sight?
Yeah.
He can't see the present. He can't see the present moment.
Yeah. We don't have that
But
I don't think
regardless-
Katakuri sees the future from his own first person perspective. I think he views it in like an omnipotent fashion.
Right. So how do
from
we
like
know
a
that
third
Fujitora
person
doesn't
out of
have
body
that?
perspective?
Yeah. How do we know Fujitora?
Because
doesn't
we
have that?
saw his hockey in action.
Yeah, but I mean, like
We saw like the envisionment of his hockey where it's like the aura of the citizens.
Right.
He saw their auras.
So if you have future sight, you can't just like regularly use like your hockey in normal ways. You have to always be future
That was
sight.
high level shit, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, like his.
He was sensing an entire city of motherfuckers.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's just
hard
that's
to say
just,
one way or another.
right. But like that doesn't mean that he can't have future sight. I don't think that.
Yeah, I think he totally could have future sight. for
Yeah,
sure.
like that's just a
Yeah.
different like level of the skill that you're using for whatever moment that you need it for. You can have a great mastery of the regular version of it too, and just use the next level whenever you need it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's just not definitive one way or
yeah,
another.
and it's
but
definitely not, and it's
right.
definitely not something that's been fleshed out in
I
the
mean,
series.
it
in any kind of
is a
confident
good
way.
question, though.
Yeah, it is,
a
yeah.
good question that like Katakuri is the only one with future sight, and who else could possibly have future sight? Like you feel like you're starting to think about characters. And it's like,
Mihawk,
if Shanks
for
doesn't
sure.
have future sight, Mihawk and Shanks, if they don't have future sight, that kind of like rubs me the wrong way. But I mean, that's kind of going.
If anybody
down
else got future sight
path we don't
besides
need to go right
Katakuri
now.
and Luffy, it's fucking Hawkeye
Shanks.
and
Oh, yeah.
Shanks,
Shanks,
even too. But
Shanks,
like,
yeah.
but yeah.
For sure.
I don't know, man. This fucking chapter was fucking ridiculous, bro.
I have a couple more little baby points here.
Yeah.
So page 10 for me, it might be 11 for y'all, but like this page with you got Ulti, you got Chopper and
Yeah, it's 10
Usopp, you
for
know what I
us.
mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're running around some area in the general shogun or whatever, you know, Frankie Shogun. And Chopper is saying like, wow, there's danger all around. Are these giants? And you see the general mech running through this area, and the barrels are huge. And the chicken that you see on this page in this panel is like as big as the door of the General Frankie, which is as big as a person. And so I'm like, are there giants? Like, is this where the numbers are from, or chilling or
that's
something? You know
a
what I
really
mean?
cool observation, dude.
So
This
the
bottle
one
of
thing I wanna
sake
say
is
about
as
that-
big as the General Frankie.
One thing I want to say about that is the Brachio tank is only one part of General Frankie, so maybe it's really not as big as it looks.
Okay.
Because that's
Yeah,
the
that's
Brachio
that's
tank,
true
which
too.
is
That is the
But there's
Brachio
definitely
tank.
enough room for both of them to be in a.
That's like
Yeah.
the whole legs
Yeah.
and torso, though.
That,
The only thing
you're
that's
right.
going on
Torso is very
top of that
big.
is like.
I
that's
think
only
you're
like
correct.
the-
I think you are correct that
Yeah.
it is probably big. I just wanted to say I'm not really too sure because is it only the car and is it the FRU and the Brachio tank are the only two things that make up General Frankie? I don't really remember exactly.
I don't
I
remember.
think it could be only the car and the Brachio tank, but
right.
maybe there was something else. I don't remember, but yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a
But
cool
yeah, this
spot
was
though.
tight.
Yeah.
But no, that would be so cool if Chopper and Usopp fight in General Frankie without Frankie.
Right.
That would be something way different,
Yes,
and that would be
yes.
sick because I mean, great for Usopp more than Chopper because Chopper can put at least some work out there by
Yeah,
himself
in a physical form.
in heavy point or
Yeah.
fucking
Monster
Kung Fu
point, go crazy on.
Or Kung Fu point or Monster Point,
Yeah, exactly. Where like Usopp manning General Frankie would be pretty sick. Being that Frankie doesn't need to be in General Frankie to put in work neither. So
Yeah,
like
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Usopp in General Frankie makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. So that
Usopp
would be
with
sick.
tech is some shit.
Is the
Nasty.
tech.
Yeah, is the
Exactly
tech.
right.
Yeah. yeah.
Usopp with tech is the tech. Definitely.
Usopp with the cannons, you don't want to
Yeah.
see it.
No, you don't. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
And the
Yeah, I mean,
the other thing I want to say
Yeah.
about this chapter is that when Kaido, is saying like you could say you're not Odin's son or whatever, right? And
Yeah.
we get one. I think it's a pretty cool flashback where Odin is like talking with Momonosuke in the bath, and he's saying like, "Oh, like where your name came from." Momo is a name that means second to none. I think that's tight
Yeah.
as hell.
Peerless.
Yeah.
And Momonosuke is having flashbacks of his mother and of Luffy. And when he says, "My name is Kozuki Momonosuke, the man who will be Shonen of Wano," he is literally copying Luffy.
Yeah.
He is
Yes.
saying the exact same thing that Luffy would say. I'm sure the
Yeah.
sentence structure is exactly the same. You know what I
Yes.
mean? He
Yeah,
looks up to
for
Luffy
sure.
like an older brother, like an idol, you know what I mean? Someone he aspires to be like, and that's really tight.
Shogun, ore wa naru.
Yes. Shogun, ore wa naru.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. And dude, and the last thing that I want to say about this chapter, the supernovas and the three supernovas in the top, Zoro, Kid, and Law, right? So like we gotta talk about that. Zoro obviously in not any kind of like distress situation, he's totally handling it totally fine. Kid also in a very confident position here. Is that Apu in his hands?
Yes.
We can assume.
Oh damn.
Yeah, is that Apu in his hands?
Wow,
I think it is. I think
so too.
Right, but then when you look at the teeth, look at the teeth though, they don't look like his teeth.
Apu's got more black teeth.
He's got more black on his teeth for the keys.
Then it's not Apu then.
Right.
Yeah,
but it does look a lot. The jaw structure looks a lot like Apu.
Jaw structure.
I totally thought that it could have been Apu, but at the same time, the teeth kind of threw it off for me. Law, obviously, this is showing. Yeah, Beppo, chilling. Beppo chilling. Yeah. But see, like you see Beppo here, two combatants, frontline combatants, like this is a difference in their characters, right? So you have Zoro, bring on the smoke. Where's it at? Y'all ain't shit to me. Kid, y'all ain't shit to me. What's going on here? Law, a man with a plan. You know what I'm saying? A man that doesn't need to be in the mix of action. And this is why the power scaling shit with the supernovas is so annoying. And I say it all the time. And they're like, laws of this and like laws that. Like look at Kid and look at Zoro. It's like, it's possible, even though they're in the same like echelon of like characters, the same like the same ranking of supernovas, you can have characters that have different purposes and different meanings. Law can definitely handle his own in a 1v1 situation, in a 1v multiple situation. But like, obviously his purpose is different than, and plus he was in the ship, right? So I mean, like, he's not even like there on the battlefield. I think Kid and Zoro are in close proximity to each other, like on the battlefield, I think. And Law might be completely separate, but Oda still showed them all together on the same line of panels.
Just because they're all supernovas doesn't mean that they're equivalent strength, though.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm getting at.
Like anyone who says that is just, you got to think a little harder, because like Jewelry Bonnie can't take half of the supernovas, you know what I mean? Like her ability is not focused towards fighting. It's
like espionage, subterfuge,
Law,
you know what I'm
is like
saying?
a god. Like Law can fuck up pretty much anyone if he wants to, you know what I mean? So
he's
it's
just
a weird
not
comparison
used in that meathead kind of way. You know what I mean?
He's a smart guy. He's not trying to have fights all the time.
Always a guy with a plan.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because people left and right say Law has, an alternative agenda here. He's, on some fuck shit. He's about to do some shady shit to Luffy or whatever. I don't think so. I just really don't think so.
I don't see it either.
And he's Trafalgar D Water Law, right? Like he's he's very important to the fucking entire story, not just fucking this plot point or the last two plot points, like entire story. I feel like these D Waters or whatever were a sub character to Joy Boy or whatever, like a support character to Joy Boy. Like he as fucking, because obviously we all think of Luffy as Joy Boy's reincarnation, right? And so Law's family, his descendants, probably fucking aided Joy Boy in whatever he had to do to fucking fuck the whole system up, and so that they had to ban fucking reading poneglyphs and fucking the whole Void Century and fucking spreading power across the globe type shit. That I feel like Law is just, his family is, by fate or whatever, historically tied to the monkeys or to Joy Boy or whatever. And I hate when people are just always like, man, Law is on shady shit. Yeah. And he could be though. Yeah. He definitely could. Well, and not only that, he could be undercover with Sword, like
X-Drake.
Drake is, like Drake is, because Drake did let him go. Yeah. But because you're with Sword, even though I did talk, I don't know, a lot of episodes ago about Sakazuki having the sword tattoo, and that he runs Sword, that doesn't necessarily mean because he has a sword tattoo that he runs Sword. Like Sword could be a benevolent organization within the world government that's trying to topple it from the inside and do the right thing, and could be very involved with Garp and Aokiji or like whatever. Yeah. So.
And I was talking about it a while too, about like just like the relationship of like the D's. Go ahead, Eagle, because you've been trying to get a word in for a sec.
no, well,
sorry.
I just wanted to go off. Like, I'm gonna divert the conversation. Y'all.
Oh, well then let me say this real quick. So like in regards to like the D's, right? So I've been saying for a while, I don't know who else shares this belief. I don't know. I don't think I've necessarily seen anyone else talking about it, but like this has been something that I've been thinking about for a while in regards to like the D situation here. So like I think it's very possible that you could have a true D line, a true line of Ds like Luffy, you know, Saul, etc. And you know, like characters that we have seen have every single trait shared in the Venn. Like there's like a Venn diagram, right? So you have true Ds in the middle. And then on the right, you have like the benevolent
Blackbeards.
Ds. Well, yeah, and then you have laws, right? Exactly. You have people that have the D name that like are using it. They're not true Ds, but have adopted that D middle name or that D abbreviation and used it and its status for nefarious purposes. And then you have you know fake Ds, also fake Ds that are using it for you know benevolent purposes, you know what I mean? Like positive purposes, you know what I mean? They're not like Law could not be a true D, Blackbeard could not be a true D, but their motivations are exact opposites of each other in support of the true Ds, right?
That's a great point. That just because you are a D doesn't mean you are a real D, and just because you are not a real D doesn't mean you're not good.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's a very good point to bring up.
And perfectly how you've stated it with the Venn diagram, you can have the Ds that are on the outside on the benevolent side that have supported the true Ds in the middle, like Law and his family. I just assume that his lineage is fate of this universe. Same with Blackbeard. There's the shady Ds that are. I mean, I don't.
The shady fake
real
Ds,
D,
the shady real, or
exactly.
the cool real D, or the cool fake Ds and the shady fake Ds.
Or they could all be real Ds, but or there is a real embodiment of D that's in the middle of the Venn diagram where there's the benevolent ones and then the fucking shady ones, and that there's Blackbeard's, Blackbeard and Rocks, their lineage could have always been on the fucking, we aren't going to be, a strong, I don't want to say strong-willed because they're strong-willed, but like full power willed towards our ideals, which are great and good no matter what and what path we need to take there, where Blackbeard, of course, he might think his ideals are great, but he's going to take shady paths to get there and whatever, so where in Law, where it's like the ideal matters more than my circumstances, right? Like I'm going to make sure that these true Ds, this monkey or whoever is going to fulfill this prophecy that they need to do, and we're going to support them to do it. So
I agree that I don't think that Law is on
side.
some fuck shit. I'm 100% with you.
Yes.
So going back to the
we went
talking about this
go ahead.
This juxtaposition between these three supernova characters, like Noxie was saying, I think Law is a completely different type of combatant than these other two. Where they're the type of characters who just run onto the battlefield
Rambo type
and
cats.
fight their way to their final fight. Law's ability and his character, like the way his ability works, it's entirely tied to his physical stamina. So he's not the type of character who fights his way to his fight.
He'll take a back door and ability use the whole most time. Efficient route.
He fucking espionages his way to his one major ass fight,
and then
bodies
all
that
of his
person,
fucking
and then he's
ability there.
Usually done after that because his stamina. If he exerts all of his physical stamina and continues to use his room, he literally is shredding years off his life every time he rooms up.
Which
and I think he's not Luffy, who's like, okay, gear second, shredding years out of my life. I don't give a fuck.
Because after I'm the Pirate King, I don't care anymore.
If I'm tired, I'm not rooming as much as possible. As much as I possibly can. I'm not going to throw up a room because I'm not trying to fucking shorten my lifespan. That's Law.
He's a doctor / scientist, right? So he's going to use his brain.
Right.
Compared to bounty hunter / metal arm guy. I don't know what you would call kid. Just a wild pirate, right?
Punk rock captain guy.
Exactly. You have a doctor / scientist who's going to make fucking calculated decisions and not just be fucking dumb swinging my sword every direction. Makes total sense for his character.
I think we've gone
Yes,
off.
we have. Yes,
tangent here.
yes,
We
have
none of us have
thoroughly
anything left to say about the chapter.
We have thoroughly discussed the chapter and
Yes.
potential plot
Yes.
points and future theory. This was a very One Piece segment,
Yes.
and I feel I feel
All right,
very
then.
satisfied with it. Yes.
Yes,
With
me
that,
too. This is how we do One Piece.
Yeah.
I think that does it.
Yeah.
And that'll be it for this episode of the Project Manga podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, be sure to slap a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't so far and you've been enjoying the show. Make sure you hit that comment section down below. Let us know what you thought about any of the discussions we had, any of the chapters. What you think of this was the chapter of the week? You know, whatever. Just chop it up with us in the comment section.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Also, like we said at the beginning, make sure you visit that link tree in the description box down below where you can find links to any and all of our online communities, audio listening platforms to consume the podcast on, as well as links to support the podcast if you would so choose. Also, timestamps down there so you can skip and just listen to what you want to listen to.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, with all that being said, this will be another stupendous episode of the Project Manga podcast. Wrapping up. I'm your host, Eagle.
Peace, y'all. It's Kiko.
Apparently, I'm the great Saiyaman. It's Noxie.
And Nick comes.
Sarabada.